Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out. Christ is Lord.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. This is going to be reaction day, and we're starting here on YouTube on this side of the aisle before we ultimately make our way to Kick later on in the day. But today's largely going to be a lot of reactions. I actually plan on getting here earlier, streaming a lot earlier today. Unfortunately, I was ultimately I've been sick the last couple of days. Probably can't really tell that much, but skull splitting level headache after last night. We were up late last night because I did go see the new movie, The Backrooms, on at the AMC. They're in here in near me. I think it released yesterday. I think it was the release date was yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember. It's like it's the widely awaited movie. It's kind of based off of the videos that started back in like the early 2000s. Can't remember the originator of who created the content, but it obviously took off from there. There was someone, I think, who popularized it a bit more than the original guy with his own series on YouTube. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Backrooms franchise overall, but the movie was what I went and saw last night. And I have to say, it was really actually pretty good. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Not to say I had any expectation that I wouldn't enjoy it by any means, but it was really well done. There's only a couple things about it that I didn't like, but it was just like me being super specific, super perfectionist, if you will. But I thought they did great, actually. They're really, really good. And the main character in it, actually, the black guy, I don't know what his name is or what his, never seen him in any kind of production before. I thought he actually did a really good job. I don't know who any of the other side actors are too, but would recommend if you want to know what I was doing last night. We did that for my wife's birthday, and it was pretty solid. Makes me wish I could make a do a bit of a video review or a opinion piece, or like, here's what I thought, but they left it open ended. I would expect there will be a follow up or a sequel of some kind, and there should be. It's like the Backrooms is way too big of a universe to like cover inside of one movie, especially one that's like less than 2 hours long. But they were great with it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed seeing what I saw. And now looks like I'm going to have to, right off the rip, turn on the power chat immediately. Let's do that. But there's five big things I wanted to react to today, all going to be inside of the political realm. And we'll make our way to gaming as we get through later on in the day. But just wanted to say a few things got in the way of what I was planning on doing today. And on top of that, I was actually planning on getting my PlayStation integrated. And unfortunately, the remote play, the most recent version of it, the remote play for PlayStation, which is like the easiest way to, to stream your PlayStation without using a video capture card. For whatever reason, the newest update has a bunch of crashes. And so I was actually doing that when I finally did get to the computer. I was trying to hook up the remote play, and it's just not going to work. Not until I actually have time to go back to the old version. And I have to go back to 8.5 because I guess the 9.0 version is not good. But I have to go back to the 8.5 version. I was reading into it. It's like you have to take this file, this one redistributable, and put it into this file. Take this file out, switch it with this, and I'm just like, I've already spent an hour here trying to get it to work. It wouldn't work. And I actually thought I could probably do there's a HDMI and there's display ports, and as technology's grown, this just differentiates the, different companies use different things. Different monitors have different, capacities. And so that's how I had the PlayStation 5 set up. It was set up to the monitor via HDMI, but the monitor was hooked up via DisplayPort to the PC. And that, I guess, isn't good enough. So whatever. But the remote play's busted until I can get a chance to figure it out. We'll see what happens with that. But what's up, Todd? Nice to see you, brother. Yeah, gold coin for 10 jewels. Yeah, that's lovely. I don't even know what that is, man. I have no idea where it comes from at all. What's up, everybody? So we're gonna be reacting to today. So we're gonna start with the boomers versus millennials. This was the widely awaited. We saw the trailer for it, I believe, over last weekend on Sunday, and this is going to be Harrison Smith, Owen Schroyer, and someone else. I think it's Alex Stein. Those three individuals versus three boomers. So boomers versus millennials. It looks like it was coordinated together by Brandon Straka. Brandon Straka is the individual who was widely known for his the walkaway campaign, or the hashtag walkaway campaign. I don't know if he wrote a book or not. I do believe he did. Brandon Straka, the king, got popularized, I guess you would say, from January 6th. I think that's where he kind of really came from. I don't know what the full story of him was. It was something to the effect of he was arrested, or they tried arresting him, something to that effect. He was a walk away from the Democrat Party, and he does represent ultimately what that kind of section is on the right wing, which is like, he's homosexual, he's not really socially conservative, but he's a part of MAGA, and that is that side of the MAGA wing that was like reactionary, so that's who he is. But I see everybody getting in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over here to the watch screen if I can grab it. And well, not me, not watching me, not watchception. But that was the first thing. So boomers versus millennials. It's like 2 hours long, so maybe we'll jump around on it a little bit. I don't know if we'll end up watching the entire thing. It's gonna probably take a lifetime to get through. But there was also another thing I was interested in, which was Pearl Davis and her new series, I guess you would call it, but her new trope, if you will. And that was, I guess, she was posted up outside of a couple of different churches, some of which was like Catholic, some of which was Protestant. And it seemed to be, she got very negative responses, but it was like a setting up with a big sign, similar to like Stephen Crowder. And it was something to the effect of, should wives obey their husbands, or should wives submit to their husbands? Something to that effect. And so she got some reactions from that. It looks like she got some video out, so we'll pay attention to that too. But then two other ones I wanted to pay attention to. One's a bit older, one's a bit newer. The one is the Ian Carroll quitting journalism. And so this I saw, I didn't see many people talk about. So I don't really know what was inside of that video, what his kind of overall direction is now. So I wanted to get a look into that too. And then Sneeko and Owen Benjamin, the interview. And so we'll see if we can find some clips of there, or just find the entire interview and watch through it piece by piece as well too. So those are some of the things I wanted to go ahead and react to today here on Reaction Day while we're here in the morning, kind of getting it started. So the boomers versus millennials, this is actually directly on YouTube. It's going to be pretty easy to find. I had to pull it up earlier, but I think I just got rid of the window. Boomer versus millennial. I think that's all I really need to type in, right? Yeah, this is like a 2-hour production, it looks like.
I'm Karen Sig.
So this is what we're going to be starting with today too. And if we get enough votes, obviously, if people, if many people want to move on to the next thing, we definitely can. So just let me know for anybody. I know many of you probably have already seen this. I know probably a lot of you have also not seen it. We're waiting for me to react to it as well. So if enough of the crowd is tired, we can move on. That's kind of how we can do it. We're tired of one thing, we can push on. We'll go to the next video. This is the walkaway campaign. I'm going to make sure that the sound is going to be working as well too.
I'm Karen.
Okay, perfect. And I don't know who any of the boomers are in this. At least I don't think I'm familiar with any of them. But I am familiar with all the other pundits and the host as well too. So don't hold back if you don't want to, you no longer wish to watch it by any means, or want to move on to the next thing, just let me know.
I'm Karen Sigmund, and I'm a baby boomer conservative.
George Raisley, and I'm a baby boomer conservative.
Frank Gaffney, and I'm a baby boomer conservative.
I'm Harrison Smith, and I'm a millennial conservative.
Primetime Alex Stein, and I'm a millennial conservative.
Owen Schroyer, I'm a millennial, 3-time Trump voter, and America First nationalist.
My name is Brandon Strock. I'm tonight's moderator, and it's
He's so gay, dude.
Tonight, we're going to do something that most people in this movement are too afraid to do.
Word. Craig says there's some beef at the end.
Ourselves, the conservative movement. There is a deep and significant fracture inside the right, and it's getting worse. This growing divide is over what loyalty means, what truth means, and what conservative identity means. And it's not only cultural, it's generational. If you're a baby boomer, there's a good chance you have a vastly different stance than millennials, Gen Xers, or Gen Z on many important relevant issues going on now, like the war in Iraq.
That is true.
America's relationship.
It still has a little bit of liberal versus conservative.
The affordability crisis, AI, and a lot more. Tonight is about dragging the generational divide out into the open and debating all of these topics, whether it's uncomfortable or not. It's about putting the tension on the table and figuring out whether this movement can evolve. And can this be fixed? We're calling this a dinner table debate, meaning we're going to keep it open forum. You are allowed to interrupt each other. You are allowed to keep the passion flowing. I'll interject if anything crosses a line or becomes disrespectful. The only exception to that rule
he has just such gay physiognomy. It's crazy.
In which I ask that everybody agree not to interrupt and to allow each panelist their turn without any interjection. So let's begin the conversation by identifying how generations are feeling about each other. I'm going to start with the millennials and then give the baby boomers the final word. We'll go one by one, each panelist getting 1 minute to answer the same question. Starting with you, Alex, what about the boomer generation is problematic for the success of the conservative movement?
Having it hanging down like 5 of them.
In my personal opinion, one of my biggest complaints about the boomer generation is their lack of self-awareness. You know, this is a generation that was able to buy a home. They were able to have access to a lot of things that we're not currently able to have access to. They didn't have to compete with illegal immigrants for jobs. And I think that it is really boiled down to a fact that they didn't have access to the same information that our generation did.
He's waiting to go.
Internet so much later in life. And the example that I like to use is like my dad. I've grown up in Dallas, Texas my whole entire life. And if I tell my dad that the CIA was involved in JFK's assassination, he almost
Which guy, Hook?
me because he doesn't believe in conspiracies. But then I talk about the Vietnam War and I bring up the Gulf of Tonkin, which was a false flag attack that brought us into a war that killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people, you know, in a war that he was almost drafted into. He just doesn't understand that because he doesn't know how to work the internet properly. And so I think it is just the lack of self-awareness for the America that they used to live in is gone. It's not the same one that we're in right now. And the fact that they have...
It is a good point, though. These guys are all older 30s. Or maybe they're not, right? Like I just turned 30, but I think that I would imagine Alex is definitely older than me. I think Harrison's definitely older than me. I don't know about Owen. I would imagine Owen's older than me. Unsure, though, actually.
Lack of information that young people like myself were able to get.
Harrison?
I think we need to work together. I know it's supposed to be a debate. I feel like there should be a call to action for the boomers because I think Alex is right that there's a
So Stein's 39. He's almost 40.
The biggest problem with the boomers, if that's the question, it's the holding on and the hoarding of power, and that there's not been a good enough job done of passing power on. I mean, we don't even have Gen X here.
Yeah, Craig, you're right.
They aren't even represented.
And then Owen is...
Now the millennials are waiting for our turn. It's almost like Gen X never got the turn. It's almost like the boomers that got into office in the 60s are still there, still running things, and haven't actually like cultivated that younger generation to replace them and to pick up the reins. And so that causes resentment in the younger generation, which is, of course...
Owen's 36, too.
Boomers, because they feel it and spit it right back. So, yeah, it seems like the boomer mentality that I hear a lot that gets on people's nerves is, you guys should have seen this place when we got here. It was a paradise, you know?
I would echo.
So they're all a good bit older than me.
And the
Not by much, but
that Harrison is talking about, where I think millennials feel like they're kind of getting cut out of the deal. And what I would use the current example of what's happening on the right wing right now. If you want to use a specific example, if you talk about any war, but in this case the Iran war, the younger generations are done. They are anti-war.
I'm fixing chat again.
Wars. This has been proven in multiple election cycles. And it feels like here's the millennials. We just put this administration in the White House. We put Republicans in charge of Congress. And it's like, okay, we did that, and then what do we get? We get right back to the same boomer foreign
This is the millennials versus
boomer policies.
Boomers.
And now we're sitting here saying, well, wait a
brought
second.
by the walkaway
We're the
campaign.
ones that got this administration in power. Why aren't we getting represented? And I feel like it's different when you say that to maybe a 20-year-old, and you say, hey, you're still young, you have experience. We're in our 30s now. We've come of age now. We are about to inherit this country now, and we feel like with every election cycle, what we're inheriting is getting less and less. The civilization is declining, and we're simply saying, hey, we've come of age. This is what we voted for, and we're not getting it. And so I think that that's the generational divide.
All right, same question. for the boomers. What about the millennial generation is problematic for the success of the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I think that the biggest problem is that too many millennials and younger generation alleged conservatives have adopted the rhetoric and much of the views.
I've never heard of this guy in my life.
And so there's an expectation on the part of younger people that they're going to arrive at the top where their parents left them when they kicked them out of the nest. And to those who think that this is not a meritocracy, that boomers are hoarding onto power and all of that kind of stuff, that's a classic leftist trope. And so, in my view, the biggest problem that millennials and younger people present to the movement is this demand for access. And my question to them, or my challenge to them, is do what I did. Go out and take it.
It's a funny question because I think over all time, the younger people have always felt that the older
Never heard of her either. American Freedom Alliance?
they didn't have access to, and the older people think that the younger people have greater expectations than maybe they should have. I think the whole notion of a gap between generations, this is so not new, that it's having an effect on the current political climate is.
The analog to digital shift is a great way to phrase that as well too. Very under talked about, especially in like the generational divide. It's more than just the differences of like the political ongoings of like the social society around them. It's also the way that people are perceiving it and digesting it and consuming the same materials. You know, one's largely all anecdotal, the other is anecdotal and a large, basically a mesh network of a vastly other anecdotal experiences. Like with X and like with TikTok, the majority of those videos you see are someone personally like recording themselves and saying, hey, this thing happened, and that's the social media content they're consuming. Or when I think back in the high school era, you'd really only see that if it was someone who posted it, like your friend posted on Facebook and like you knew them. Now it's everyone's kind of bouncing off of each other's own, like a community anecdotal experience. Social media was a lot more brought everything up to speed.
Particularly interesting, but
yeah, incongruent meta narratives
and seeing a lot of millennials. I think there's so much that's being broken deliberately for you all coming through. I don't know that I would call it the affordability problem or whatever, but I think expectations have been given to you that aren't necessarily fair.
Time.
Well, it's so much more to
But
say.
we have a lot more time. We have a lot more time. Frank, go ahead.
These are, of course, sweeping generalizations, but the question is teed up that way. My biggest concern is that
just from the way he looks, you knew he's about to be the worst one.
has embraced the idea that the world is irrelevant. It's about us. It's about the sharing of power, distribution of it, controlling it. My fear is, as we mentioned, you are about to inherit a very messy world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not with us in trying to make it more consistent with our vital security interests and freedoms, it's not going to be recoverable.
He looks like a banker.
And that's what makes me most worried about the next generation's handoff here.
The America First side of the political spectrum has taken a much firmer stance on H-1B visas compared to the Trump administration. Many of them want to send all
And are they all supposed to be conservative?
back to their home country and terminate the program, while the Trump administration is expanding it. Let's take a look. The graphic on the screen shows the disparity in income between the wages of American citizens and the wages of H-1B visa holders along a spectrum of multiple professions. So which direction is more likely to help the American people?
This is a really good graph. I'm surprised I've not seen this floated around a lot more. This is a little bit better than the one that Chief Chumpster put out. This is showing you a good idea or a good visualization of how that's suppressing the wages. You know, so you see that all workers, right? All workers exist down here. And then the H-1Bs. These applications are paying out. Or forgive me, Actually, I've not seen this. This is the inverse of what we've seen before. Certified H-1B visa applications. This is interesting. So the median wage for the same position, the H-1B visa applicants are getting paid higher on these different positions, it looks like. That's interesting. I guess we'll listen to him explain it here.
Well, I think that the graph is a pretty telling story right there. And I think that this gets back to the conversation where I just feel like boomers never dealt with this. I feel like boomers never dealt with a job market.
Oh yeah, if it's got Judeo-Christian values, you know where it's at.
Millennials are a little more resentful to the Republican Party, even spiteful and contentious. You might
good
say.
point, 40 wide. Who's we?
Continue to get screwed over on this thing. Trump was supposed to be different, and he's going right back to the same neocon boomer policies that have been angering my generation since we've gotten out of college. And so you just see it again. They say one thing, they do the complete opposite. And to us, it's like, why are you doing this to us again? And it doesn't matter if you're a left-wing millennial, a right-wing millennial.
Didn't we cross $30 trillion in debt?
Into this, because I think one of the main reasons I wanted to do this conversation is when we look at the generational divide, that piece of the divide that's happening in MAGA right now, what I find, and obviously I'm generalizing, is that it seems like within the boomer generation, there is a lot of resistance to any sort of criticism.
Autocorrect is soloing.
And I don't really understand that. So I'll let you guys speak for yourselves here, but what is your position on that when we talk about, Trump wanting to expand the H-1B program?
I thought it was like 31 or something like that.
Here's the thing.
31 trillion.
There's a little bit of confusion here between the conservative movement or movement conservatism.
39 trillion.
And
Lord
MAGA.
have mercy.
MAGA is a marriage of convenience between a lot of different interests that came together to elect Donald Trump to enact certain policies that they all sort of agreed on. And they are justifiably pissed because Trump has walked away from some of those things, or at least not got them.
Would anybody be mad if I played this at like at least 1.25? Because these boomers are literally talking in slow motion.
As fast as he said he would during the campaign. The conservative movement is an entirely different thing. It is based on a set of principles that Trump has, a very limited, affinity for, but essentially, Judeo-Christian values, government informed by the Declaration of Independence, implemented by the Constitution, classical
That's what it was made for.
Free market economics, and I would suggest also the lessons of World War II and the Cold War regarding threats to our freedom.
George, where is this Trumpless conservative movement that you're referring to? I'm not
I think it's over here.
Is the Cold War in the room with us right now?
Right here.
There were two things. There were two things that you said, and I'm curious if we can expand on these things that I know we are sick of. I think I speak for most of our generation. Judeo-Christian values, just please toss that out of the ring if we're talking politics. I don't even want to hear it. And as far as World War II is concerned, are we ever going to move on? Can we ever have a country and a foreign policy that isn't tied into the results of World War II?
Yes, I think that's,
why not?
I think that's key.
That's ridiculous.
That is right. That's the definition of boomer, right? It's
5 trillion in 2000. That's insane.
Is when that generation starts. So, in a way, I sort of feel for you guys in that you were like the most affected by the change of attitude after the war. In every different way. And one of the main ways was a major focus on removing race from the conversation. I feel like when you talk about immigration, to me, race has a lot to do with it. And I feel like boomers were—
He was her dad, right?
Throughout their childhood, right after World War II, it was racism is the big evil. That becomes an issue because other races, like the Indian, when we talk about H-1Bs, Indians have a very, strong, group in America that is operating on a racial basis. And I feel like one of the biggest weaknesses of the boomer generation that allowed America to become weak was that part of humanity, of the human experience, has been ignored. And anytime I try to talk about race to boomers, it's the boomers who will get very uncomfortable and very reticent to ever bring that up.
Weasel.
I feel like that's—
She sounds like a snake. Sounds like a weasel.
I think—
Is it a weak generation?
I would say that they allowed incrementally their country to be stolen from them. And we're sort of constantly, it's like, well, you know, what's the problem with the guy, this guy? I mean, he's a great worker, it's fine. And it's like, well, okay, his whole family's coming in, okay, well, now his whole neighborhood is changing.
Daniel
Okay, now- so it's
Syrian's father.
You have to sort of be more
That's
hardcore and go, I don't
accurate,
care if it's
actually.
mean. It's our country, you can't have it.
Well-
and I feel like boomers.
You just got a little bit less hair.
You that's universally shared by millennials? I haven't seen any sign of that.
Well, I would say that the people that are mad at Donald Trump are people like myself. When a guy that I debated for, a guy that I voted for 3 times, said that he was going to deport all these illegals, and yet he's deported less.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I read that in elementary
What's
too.
the conspiracy behind that? It's because
Not elementary, but
multinational
maybe middle
corporations
school.
in his ear, basically calling the shots when he says at the beginning of his presidency, well, you know, the hotel workers, they get to stay, it's no big deal. So yeah, I do think that they are being, and you know, like I said, I like Donald Trump, but he's been incredibly weak when it comes to immigration.
Hold on, is that that's the one that's like it's a Holocaust account from like the super young kid, basically following around about his father. Is that what I'm thinking of? Right, Eli Wiesel Knight. Like positive, that's what it is. Just for him, let me pull this up. I want to verify that's what it is because I want to make sure if I've read it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I read this in middle school. It feels like everybody goes through that stage, right? That's part of your Holocaust re-education. I feel like it was super, super heavy in for whatever reason in like in the middle school era. Like I think it was before I got, maybe it was freshman English. When is that? Because it was we did the Anne Frank stuff, we did Night by Eli Wiesel, we did a couple other things in there too. But it seems like it's all the same stuff. They recycle the same things, all the same stories, it's all the emotional argumentation. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
When he campaigned he was going to build a wall, they can't find any money to build a wall. They can't find, you know, any solution to the SAVE Act. So it seems like if he really was authoritarian, like the left describes him, he would be able to do all this stuff that he said he was going to do.
Right.
Or if the wall was on the other side of the planet, we could build it like that.
I have a question, though, I think, because this is a point on which I vehemently agree. We witnessed.
That was good, dude. Like that was like a simple but like effective. Like, yeah, bro. If the American border wall was in Israel, it would get built immediately. Hell, dude, the border wall could be in South Korea. It would get built at a faster rate than if it was on American soil. I do appreciate that Owen Schroyer is like not like he's not hearing it anymore. Like that was awesome. I love that.
On our watch, yes.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. That was good.
Probably not because of conservatives, but because of the establishment, Republicans particularly. This incremental foiling.
That was good, man.
Well, I think that this is where, to answer the
Do you
question.
agree with that? I mean,
well, I think.
Yeah, there is border wall in Israel.
Well, let me try to rephrase it and go back to what you said. When I said, we don't want to hear about this post-World War II foreign policy anymore, he said, no, we can't move on. And we're sitting here ripping our hair out. We're like, why? Why can we never move on? Why do I have to sit
I'm owning my Schroyer.
Jews are victims. I'm sick of it. Why? What are we doing here? Foreign policy, Russia is the boogeyman. Am I stuck in the Cold War?
Have to do with each other?
Because this is it. This is the grasp that we can't get rid of.
different things, though.
But it's not. It's overall. It's everything. It's everything. We're sitting here saying we all agree the country's going the wrong way. We all agree we've incrementally watched our country get stolen. Millennials are saying let's do it differently, and the boomers keep doing the same thing over and
Oh,
over.
no, hold it. I disagree with that totally. I mean,
Getting cathartic now. All right.
I've said this before a million times. There's too many people, especially millennials, who think that history started in 2015 when Donald Trump came down the escalator. And all of these issues that you're bitching about have been fought time and time and time again.
And we thought Trump was going to be different. That's what we're saying. And it was the same thing.
By the way, so did we.
So did we.
So to your point,
we're all
I think
sick of
about immigration, right? But
No.
immigration is not only damaging, but it's also a betrayal. Right? And that's you're suffering the effects economically, the financial
This
effects.
is like funnier than I thought it would be.
That's very real, but I think we're all
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing,
a
Hook.
sense of this was, in parlance, this is not what we voted for. But there was a lot of things that we voted for that weren't happening, but certainly getting rid of all illegals and a lot of legals and people who
The boomers are learning, they're adapting.
People who are here literally potential terrorists, not to mention the whole job situation, and who have completely changed the fabric, the complexion, and I don't care about race, but the entire if your belief system, you don't
What's
like
up,
the
Caleb?
Judeo-Christian language, but if you're a counter to Judeo-Christian values and you're here and you're imposing your set of worldviews on it and you've taken over town after town, that's a problem.
Who's doing that?
Oh,
Where?
Sharia supremacists?
Where?
right here.
I don't have Muslims telling me anything to do in Texas.
Yeah, it had super low views. It's only at like 20K right now.
I have laws in this state that I can't boycott Israel. I have laws in this state against anti-Semitism. Who's writing those laws?
You're going to be finding more and more. This is why 1.9 million Texans in that Republican primary voted to ban Sharia law.
But Frank, this is your fault.
That's what they're.
This is your fault because you remember after 9/11 when there was a huge issue of whether or not they could build a mosque at the center of the
I was
terror
at the
attack.
center of that.
I know. So I'm saying
it's not my fault.
I'm saying they built the mosque there, right?
They did not build the mosque there.
Well, regardless.
Not able to build the mosque because we stopped it. But they are working.
Take a shot. They say
We
Judeo-Christian.
saw this 20 years ago.
It's way too early for
That was
this.
Mamdani running the freaking
I know.
So, but
I know,
hold on a second.
This
But
is my problem.
That's not
This is my
on
problem.
us.
Is that,
But who-
is
That
that
would be-
Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Donald
Isn't this selectively enforcing the First Amendment?
You bet they are.
Well, so you're the ones that are against Muslims.
I am against Sharia and the imposition of it on us because it's not only contrary to Christian
But that's not happening.
civilization. You are not paying attention.
You're the ones that want to talk about Judeo-Christian values all day long and use our whole military in the Middle East for Israel. And you want to talk about Muslim influence? We're done. We don't buy it.
All right. And I'm going back to what I said to you before. You are going to reap the
Okay.
whirlwind if we don't
Of what?
sort it out. Of a world in which jihadis are here and are running.
And why are they here? Why are they here?
This is a false dichotomy.
Why are they here? They're here because we're in the Middle East.
No. You're right. You're right. All right, guys. Now's our 10-minute ad break, and we're gonna learn about slavery. Our mandated 10-minute learning about slavery and the oppression of women and the Holocaust. All right, so back when Big Bad that would be crazy, bro. But coming to a city near you.
No, we haven't destroyed the Middle East. How's the Middle East doing right now?
I'm talking about
How many countries are being bombed in the Middle East right now?
about this country. You just suggested that they're here because we've screwed up the Middle East. They've screwed up the Middle East, and now they're screwing up Europe, and they're
They are.
did they come?
They are all the same.
screwing this up.
And when did that happen? This has all happened while we were
This has
kids.
been
We watched
happening-
all of this happen.
This has been happening.
They're all branches and apples from the monoculture.
Palestinian and other Arab workers to run those factories.
But that was never an issue. The issue now is that
Because
there's
they
very
were not
large
jihadists.
numbers of
Muslim Brotherhood,
ethnic sort of
Sharia supremacists,
Right.
Sure.
Somalis, and others who are here to destroy our country.
Sure.
Don't
I agree.
But allow-
Do you believe the
If
official
we're
story of
not paying
9/11?
attention-
I do agree. There is no Parima
I
Edoson.
believe 9/11 was an attack by.
You're not answering the question. Answer the question, yes or no. Do you believe the official government narrative of 9/11?
I believe that Sharia.
So no. The answer is no. But you don't want to admit that, because if you admit that, you admit everything that's followed that is based on a
I don't know
lie.
what you're saying about.
Like Muhammad Atta.
What are you talking about?
He did cocaine. He was with strippers. Do you think he was really like
I was getting angry, dog.
Yes.
that he was a religious guy?
I am perfectly.
I would be
clear
too.
that Religious guys do that sort of thing.
But he was
Way
from
to-
Saudi. I'm saying, but he was from Saudi Arabia.
Way to paradise.
I know, but he was from Saudi Arabia, and then we go
So what
and.
do you believe? What is the narrative that you believe?
Well, I believe that Condoleezza Rice and George Bush had, knowledge of the attacks before. They were warned by the FBI. They didn't
What about
take
Howard
the-
Lutnick, too?
I'm saying they didn't take the threat serious enough. So that's just the official story. If you want to get into the conspiracy side of it, the majority of the hijackers are from Saudi Arabia, who was an ally of ours. And then if you look at what happened, they use that.
Ally of ours.
Well, I mean, they're
Let's
soft.
be honest, it's not.
Yeah,
an ally.
particularly back then.
Well, we do a lot of business.
I wish his mic was a bit louder. His is like quiet.
We never invaded Saudi Arabia.
And Qatar. And
But I'm saying we never invaded Saudi Arabia. When we went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, get him, Owen.
Look at the Mujahideen.
Get him.
The Mujahideen was created as a proxy group to fight the Russians. You can watch a movie called Charlie Wilson's War that we funded this. So I'm just saying we funded the Mujahideen, and guess who was connected to that?
Agreed,
Osama bin Laden.
Caleb.
So at one point, Osama bin Laden.
worked with them.
I know. I'm saying so we worked with the guy that blew us up. It sounds awfully convenient, is what I'm
Worked
saying.
with them against the Russians.
I know. And then all of a sudden he just attacked us. It's just the story. It doesn't pass the smell test.
It doesn't pass the physics test.
He was
It doesn't pass the physics test.
Then why did we support him? Why did we give him money?
Regardless
convenience.
of all that.
We,
it.
we
Now, hold on.
with,
Saying
with
that's
the
what we
Soviet
did.
Union.
This is beautiful.
Argument about 9/11, which I'm enjoying, by the way. The upshot of that is that at the elementary school near my house, Travis Heights Elementary in Austin, we have such an influx of Afghans. They're teaching classes in Pashtun, and American kids can't get education.
Patriots, this month the Walkaway campaign turns 8 years
All right,
old. And in the last 8
All right. All right. Don't need to get an ad from a gay man.
as well.
But they wouldn't be here if we didn't go to Afghanistan and blow up their country, and then we brought them all back with
Some
us.
of them would have been, but not like
Maybe, but not
from
like
everywhere.
Biden brought in legally.
Sure, not to the
And all of
degree
them
that we would have.
basically were jihadists. They were not people who helped us in Afghanistan.
Is every Muslim a jihadist?
Not everyone, but plenty of them are. And the ones who aren't, you know what they call them?
What's up, Larry?
But can we not?
The problem with that is you get killed,
Have a
so they
sleeper
don't do
pill.
much to help.
So I think that
Go take care of our
the reason 9/11
child.
conversation is important is because I think the biggest difference between us, we're all on the right side politically, I think the biggest difference is foreign policy. And quite frankly, if we're talking about conservative principles, then our foreign policy is the farthest thing from conservative. Because here's what we have witnessed. We have witnessed in our life, our downtowns, our metropolitan areas, our civilization. We have watched everything decay in our life. That's what we've witnessed in front of our eyes, to the point now he's talking about you can't even go to a school. They don't even speak English. You don't even want to go downtown. You might get mugged. But you know what has been happening while we've been watching our civilization decline? We've watched other civilizations around the world basically start from nothing to become nicer than ours, all over the Gulf nation states. And you know where all of our blood and treasure has gone? Into the Middle East. And you know where our foreign policy remains? Stuck in the Cold War era. And there's nothing conservative about it. We have not benefited at all from it. And that's why we're ready to just rip the cord. We want a total divorce, and we believe that is going to solve all the problems that we're talking about here, because we've tried it your way, and all it's done is cause the problem.
It appears that the current administration is softening its stance on deportations.
700 officers leaving Minneapolis.
What?
Did that come from you? Yes, it did. I learned.
They just straight up cut that one off.
Maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
Yeah, let's get some boomer A-loggers in here. Where my boomers at? Hey, Grandma, Grandpa, get in here.
We have a lot of heart. They said, you've got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels, and we're not looking. We're looking to get the criminals out right now.
Seems like a drastically different stance than he had before. Does this worry you?
Yes.
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 And
What's going on?
that was one of the
All I'm thinking of is like it's the one guy. It's the one guy when he's like, it's that one black dude from that video. He was like, they got your mans on sexual assault charges. He was your mans. He's like, he's like right up in the guy's face. Like they're blasting your mans right now. Can we come on? These are your peoples, man.
instances where I was prepared to walk away from Donald Trump.
He was your mans.
Working my tail off in 3 elections and putting a lot of time, effort, blood, treasure, etc. into getting him reelected. To see him back off from that was beyond disappointing.
Why do you think it's happening?
I'm going to agree with my millennial friends over here that it is the influence of big business. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it in my home state of Florida, where we have the Disney company firing 2,000 American creators and technicians and hiring 2,000 foreigners and demanding that the Americans train them.
Right.
Is that what you think?
Well,
the reason is?
I
Whoa.
mean, that is just absurd.
Whoa, pause. What, there's no pause after Drainham? They just, no one reacted to it.
True. And I think Trump has all but admitted it without putting it into words. But I think that if you look at this from like a domino effect, why is he saying we need a softer touch? Why has there been this issue getting the illegals out of the country? And I think you kind of have to go back and look at the
I come from the tribe of big business.
Bondi, who I think has been maybe the biggest letdown of the administration. She was
My
supposed to
people,
shut down these
the
organizations.
big
She was supposed to
businesses.
shut down the organizers and the funders. She didn't do it. So they got all these protesters out on the street. Now you got 2 of them dead.
Mm-hmm.
They try to go do a deportation operation in, you name it, Minnesota, wherever, and now they're out on the streets. They're disrupting it. And so now the Trump administration is sitting here with 2 dead bodies saying, fuck. What are we going to do? Just call it off. There's nothing else we can do. And so I go back, and I'm not trying to get stuck in a foreign policy rut, but I think it applies. Again, I'm saying, where can we get things done? We can get things done in every other country in the world. No problem. It's all getting done. Money, manpower, resources, equipment, you name it. We got it. But if we want to do a mass deportation here, sorry, can't help you. Can't even get the protesters off.
We got war at Iran before we deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That's where we're at in this country.
And one thing for me, it's like, I love the Constitution.
She wins.
No right to protest, but it seems like this administration is more worried about anti-Semitism.
This is your man's.
About people getting raped, like Laken Riley. And you would think that would be, a little higher on their priority list than kids protesting and holding a sign that maybe it is anti-Semitic. But at the end of the day, we do have the First Amendment. We have right to, freedom of speech. And it seems like they're taking away our rights to protect a certain group when they should be protecting all of us by kicking out these illegal immigrants. And the jihadis, we want them gone too, but it just doesn't seem like the administration is focused on that. They're focused on very narrow things that actually don't benefit the Americans that voted for them.
Yeah, but that's what really worries me, I got to tell you, is those
protests
bodies that got in here.
But is protesting?
Millions over those open borders.
Well, Frank, let me ask you this.
Perhaps, just one more point. Perhaps as many as 200,000 Chinese soldiers who got in. I haven't heard a word from the administration about deporting any of those people.
Well,
In fact, to the contrary,
let alone getting out.
we brought up the 600,000 students who are here, and I believe.
No, you want to know how unserious they're taking any of this? By all accounts, and this is an actual factual stop in. Remember when we covered Ori Solomon? Okay, Ori Solomon, this Israeli individual who is running a biolab in Vegas. Well, what was he connected to? Not only is he Israeli and getting all of his charges dropped, and the prosecutor's also Jewish, and the judge is Jewish. The word on the street, no. The report is that he was actually simply only a manager who was under the commission of a Chinese national. I forget the Chinese national's name, but yeah, they're not taking it serious. And that's just like one. There's apparently been multiple of these like Chinese homemade biolabs operating across the country. Like the government doesn't, this country does not care right now. This country's primary and number one goal is ensuring the continuation of Israel. Like by all accounts, ostensibly, it is very clear, like nothing else right now even matters. The ballroom, insider trading, greater Israel. It's like that's it. Put it on the list. That's the three things you're going to be getting.
I believe Donald Trump first said this.
We're kind of burning through this right now.
And then he said he's going to give him a green card on their diploma.
Then he was going to double it.
But what was that about? That was all a part of the financial negotiations with China that had to do with forcing them to sell TikTok because they weren't censoring the Palestinian videos.
It's all deal making in the most peculiar.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
But that was a big.
Well, but see that. But that's another.
Coming back to my point of what is MAGA, it is it's
been hijacked.
Blood guilt
between various interest groups, and it's falling apart.
Yes.
Not because of
the Social Security thing, even in my own
conservative boomers,
even among my own people, is contentious.
President Trump is walking away from some of those core commitments that he made.
Well, and your original question said America First was this and Trump was that. You already in your question separated America First from Trump, which was, that's not how it was supposed to be at all. He was supposed to be the leader of America First. And we're back to the... And he says he is.
But I think that's where it goes to what Owen is pointing out, that when it comes to overseas stuff, when it comes to anti-Semitism, there's no barriers. Everything gets done immediately with alacrity. Nobody even stands up against it. But if it's anything that's going to benefit Americans, it's suddenly we have to have a soft touch. We have to be careful about that. Well, do we really want to do this?
Look at the save
Is any of it durable, though? Have we seen, a lasting and ideological commitment to any of those things?
No.
Like
and
anti-Semitism?
I think
no.
well,
all of these things.
And obviously,
come and gone.
Trump is making his own decisions. I can't blame every boomer in America for what Trump is doing. Obviously.
She says thank you. That's good.
He is a boomer, and he's surrounded by boomers, and he's making deals with boomers. And so, again, that is true. You can't blame everybody for that. But I don't know.
Listening to kids.
But it's like,
He's very much
we're not
listening to kids.
He's not anymore.
Well,
He's
when it comes to going on a
completely tossed us
podcast, he
overboard.
listens to
He
kids,
wanted to
but
talk to us
I don't
when we would vote for him, and then as soon as he got any overthrew all the
average Edgar Rain voter.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen
Very true.
the OK Boomer meme. It was kind of a popular thing in pop culture. You may have seen it. But that's what this is. It's like,
let this be a point here too. I mean, this is why the optics matters. This is why it matters to be surgical and precise. Because if you really cared, I don't think it's worth it to go after boomers. But for one, I mean, this is why the constituency thing matters when you're running in a district, and if you have a lot of boomers in your district, you gotta pay attention to that thing. It's the same stuff that when we had Mr. Esperon on talking about when he had ran, when he had done his. When he had tried running for the positions of power that he was in, and he had to actually, he looked at the district, he looked at the demographics and thought, is there a reasonable chance that I could win given the people who live in this area? These things matter quite a bit.
OK Boomer, here we go again. It's like, OK Boomer, here we go again. OK Boomer, you believe the official narrative of 9/11.
Not to convince them. That's like the impossible
task.
task.
Oh my gosh, OK Boomer. Oh, it's like, can we ever move on?
Okay, Boomer.
Can we ever do something for our country? We're sick of this same policy.
Okay, Boomer.
Which policy are you talking about that you're sick of?
World War II.
Exactly.
I'm stuck in a post-World War II world. I'm stuck in a post-World War II world where I have to sit here and act like every Jew is the biggest victim on the planet. I'm stuck in a post-Cold War foreign policy where Russia is still the boogeyman. None of this stuff makes sense. In fact, quite frankly, and this might be a little controversial for you, but I truly believe if we divorced completely with the Middle East and just got completely out of the Middle East and actually formed a partnership with Russia, I think that would be the most beneficial thing for our country today. I truly believe that.
To Owen's point, well, I just want to say this, and it looks like Trump does want to get out of this Iran war, but I think
I don't know all the way about Russia.
Make a deal with Putin, who's a big ally with Iran, and somehow simultaneously ended the Ukraine war and this war at the same time. I think that would be the best way to get out of this quagmire that we're currently in.
We've teamed with them.
Certainly, anybody but Israel would be a better ally. I think.
Right?
Just
we allied with Stalin, if I may be so bold as to bring up World War II. So we've allied with people who aren't our friends, because the enemy of our enemy can well be our ally in a particular with a particular focus. Is Putin interested in this?
Yes, he's been more receptive
Since the
than
90s.
Zelensky, according to Trump.
Well, what Putin says is that he sort of routinely, after the after they were stabilized and everything.
Yeah, Russia culturally is different from where it used to be.
Another European
Even like
country,
15, 20 years ago.
And the president would say, "You're right, you should." And then, as Putin puts it, the men in gray suits would come and say, "No, we're not doing that."
And that's because NATO takes our money. And Trump talks about this all the time, but he won't do anything about it. NATO has raked us over the coals for billions of dollars. And that's why they wanted to keep Russia as our enemy. And of course, the United States, they get a little benefactor too with whatever insider deals that they do with the EU now. But that's what.
You know, there's a part of me, though, on Russia specifically, that does feel like there's an element of it that is propagandized to make themselves or take advantage of all the weaknesses of America, right? To boost itself overall in terms of like its view, how it's viewed by other people. When you think back to when Putin offered, I forget what the actual term of what it was, but there was a period of time, I don't even know if it's still active or if it was active for even a very long time. But Putin had basically offered like safe passage for people wanting to escape the bastardized West. And I forget like how long that even ran for, but part of me even thinks that perhaps, people may benefit from that. Is Russia doing that to weaken America, right? Would it not be in their best interest? They would assume so. And also too, like we have somebody even on the Discord, you guys are probably familiar with him. I'm pretty sure he's still currently living in Russia, and he seems to find it to be okay. Now, is he a federal agent in my Discord? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But it seems like from some personal accounts from people that they have truly enjoyed their experiences with Russia. How much up does that stand? How much does that stand? I guess we'll have to see, but it is a concept for sure.
It was. If you would have cut off the rival of Russia from the United States, from the West, guess what? No need for NATO, no billions of dollars going into Europe anymore. So they said, oh, no. Well, we don't want that. We want to keep that money flowing. So there's way too much of that going on in politics.
But why do you think Trump is ideologically aligned with what you just say?
Yes, but Trump is a negotiator, and he knows NATO has huge leverage. He knows if he threatens to pull the NATO funding from Europe, that they'll basically get on their knees and beg.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I think, why Trump continues to keep us in NATO, is for that leverage in the negotiation, which I don't like, but I do think that's why.
A lot to be said for that.
I want to ask you, I think that your generation is used to politicians not keeping their promises. We famously remember George H. Bush, no new taxes, and walking all of that back. I think a lot of people, 10 years ago, you were in your 20s, early 20s, and I would imagine very excited about what you thought was somebody very, very different, not a typical politician, maybe not a politician at all. First of all, would it be fair to say that right now, do you think Trump is just a typical politician?
Yes, that's how I view him.
So my question for you all is this just the way it is? I mean,
boomers, they do the meme.
Perpetual cycle.
You just straight up look at you and go, well, it had to be this way.
the thing.
Or they won't even defend it.
This is one of these.
Can't we all just get along?
In 2015. How do you think we felt when Reagan didn't produce all of the things that he said he was going to do? I mean, I was there when George H.W. Bush said no new taxes.
Reagan sucked.
I was there when I saw the
Reaganites must be crushed utterly. No survivors.
Caved for and agreed to the tax increase so that he could proceed with Operation Desert Storm. And so, this disappointment is nothing new. It just happens to be focused on a new subject, which is Donald Trump, who we all thought
Russia's taking a lot of immigrants. It's interesting.
I think too, Reagan
seems they're a little bit more open to it than other places.
Core.
Well, yes.
And that he pursued imperfectly because, by the way, we're all imperfect.
Yeah.
And, my rule of thumb,
I was there when Lincoln said end slavery.
We ought not ever be surprised.
That's funny.
But I think there's an ideology that we expected Donald Trump to have. America First, MAGA, that is, every part of this conversation is revealing.
No-fault divorce has been cancer since it's been a part of this country.
He turns out to be not ideological at all. It's deal-making, it's immediate pragmatism.
In the short note, if any conservative actually cared about the family unit, the first thing they would do in power they would sign an executive order that would utterly just eviscerate no-fault divorce in the most aggressive way possible, finding all the other little loopholes to just force it to have to do all these stupid checks. Make it AIDS for someone. If you want to get a divorce, make it absolute AIDS. Or you can go to church and have it done through the process and the procession of how it should be getting done. Because marriage ultimately should be a sacrament underneath the church, not the government.
It's not, to your point about MAGA, marriage of convenience.
Dude, Artie's been going nonstop, bro.
Ever
Literally nonstop.
verbalize exactly
Crashing
what it
out,
was.
bro.
I'm not saying it's
Rent-free.
as vague as Obama's hope and change.
Rent-free,
It
dude.
allowed all of us to put in our own hopes and dreams, which allowed all of us to be
All of us to
betrayed in
vote
our
for
own,
it. All of us to vote for it,
betrayed in our
too.
own way.
Trump definitely is like second Reagan.
Yeah.
He
Very similar.
drained the swamp.
Totally.
Very definitely
Yes.
said that he was going to
Especially like in posture,
clean up DC. So
background.
I want to move on to a topic
Yeah.
that has affected, I think, every single person on this stage, and it's very serious. It's the topic of accountability and de-weaponization.
Did you guys know that you can support Walkaway by going to our shop and getting some?
Do you know you can be not gay and repent and believe in the Lord Jesus Christ as your savior? There we go.
I think most of us took for granted that this administration was going to go in and clean out our
Yes.
three-letter agencies, get justice for some of the most crooked and corrupt actors who really destroyed people's lives. I'm talking about people like Fauci. I'm talking about the January 6th committee. I'm talking about Fonnie Willis, Letitia James, James Comey, Alvin Bragg, and all the rotten apples in the FBI and the DOJ. Where are the arrests? And what's going on?
Never ask a white nationalist his race of girlfriend.
Orthodox Jewish guy.
So true,
John
King.
Gross. He's probably going to get mad that I said this, but he just left the DOJ because he was a J6 attorney, and he kept on writing memos encouraging the Department of Justice to investigate the Department of Justice, and Harmeet Dillon will not do it because they're not going to investigate themselves. So if you think that there's any chance that we're
Truth.
going to put a retribution for the January 6th committee, 0% possibility. So we have Trump in that's not going to go after the corruption that he campaigned that he was going to go after.
Right.
So it's very frustrating, especially because we know that was a scam, you know, and obviously you were affected by January 6th. A lot of people's lives were ruined. And yes, that was
Scottsky was there when Reagan ran.
pardoning the January 6ers, but that doesn't take back the time you lost, the money you lost, the relationships that you lost, the family. I mean,
All
it's
of
just so much.
It's been the lesser of two evils for some time now.
You don't even get any financial,
lawyer
help.
fees, right?
Yeah. Restitution. Yeah, it's a horrible situation,
And
and it would be so. I'm saying it's similar to the Epstein list. It would be so easy to go after the corrupt people that were part of it, but they choose not to because they protect their own.
But Alex, some of the architects of January 6th were promoted within the
Yeah.
FBI. Promoted. So we're not just not getting rid of bad actors. Some of them are getting raises and promotions.
Yeah.
Could I come back to this point that would is sort of the subtext of did Trump disappoint? Did Trump betray?
Appreciate that, Craig. I appreciate you guys. It is best community.
Corruption
Best community this side of YouTube, man.
is at work in all of these things. We have, let's be clear,
Hey,
interest.
we are high class bigots, okay?
Lobbyists. We have corporations. We've got,
I need to have a monocle. Every time I'm about to be racist, put on a monocle.
and that's not transparent to the American people. And it may not even be transparent to the
Let's have a
politicians or
Groiper toy,
non-politicians
or toy Groiper, forgive me.
before he gets elected the first time. By the second time, third time, clearly new. But this is a
Okay, for one, are you guys noticing that? I think it's this guy's mic in particular is like super weak. It's like he's like quiet compared to the other ones. And then for whatever reason, they keep adding in couch sounds. Like, is that part of it? I've noticed other like high tier, high production podcasts do that too. Where you could hear the leather moving every time like they readjust themselves. It's like, is that a ASMR thing? Like, I don't know. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, especially because of the movies last night. There was a gay couple sitting next to us. It was packed, by the way. Like we were like packed in like sardines. There's a gay couple to my right, so it's like my wife's on my left, but then these two gay guys to my right. Brother, the one would not stop moving every like 2 seconds. Like he was making so much noise that like I internally in my head was like, I have to actually be more quiet to make up for how obnoxious you are being. Like, so I'm like in my head, I'm like, I have to even it by being super stealth. I just don't even, I don't get it. But yes, somebody said that earlier. I told Tom Foe, I messaged him. I'm like, Artie is all yours now, dog. You have to, bro. I'm out. I'm done.
point that I mean, it goes back, I guess, in a way to what George is saying. We're suddenly seemingly
YouTube's miserable. They don't even spend notifications for me unless you have them like
going on in this casino.
turned on to the mag.
We're shocked. If you want to do something about politicians lying to you, it has to start with accountability.
That's what I thought, Tix. They keeps rubbing on his tie.
You punish them. And
So would you then agree on that point?
And you go after the vested interests that are corrupting.
So would you agree then on that point that your generation failed to do that?
I would agree that every generation has failed to do it.
I don't believe we've had a proper chance.
It's like facing sideways. It's not even pointed up. It's like
Cass Patel
sideways.
is our generation, and he's not doing anything to go
And he's very unpopular right
By
now.
the time you're running things.
Yeah, toy debate.
Do you think, I guess,
Millennials versus boomers.
the way we look at it is, if the path that we are on is imminent death, which we all agree America's not on a right path, generally speaking, politically. If the path that we're on is imminent death for the country, and for us younger generations, you can call us left or whatever you want when we raise this stuff, but the levels of contention and resentment that I believe our generation on the right side of the aisle, we are way more contentious and resentful of our government than I think your generational conservatives and right.
No, I don't think so.
Have any different results.
Maybe in the future.
Just looking at this monstrous system that is nothing.
They keep going at each other on X, probably.
And our generation, both on the left and the right, maybe quite frankly, our generation is saying, just tear the whole thing down.
Yeah,
just tear the whole thing down before it goes on another.
Well, there's an urgency to it for us, I think, because people saying, well, I'm not voting for the Republicans in the midterms because this has been so disappointing in the Iran war and everything. And, I see people online saying, oh, but we're moving the ball down the field. But, at least if we have Republicans, it's moving in our direction. And it's like, well, we're about to die. Like, the game's almost over. We can't just be moving the ball down the field. We've got to score a touchdown. So there's a certain lack of urgency, I feel like, and yet millennials, or maybe I'm not speaking for everybody, but I feel like, okay, if we don't get it done right now, Gavin Newsom's going to be president. We're all going to be in jail, and they're going to give backdoor, residency.
Yeah, boomers in diapers.
Well, the midterms have already gone bad.
We here feel that urgency like you cannot believe. That is what drives us. The urgency is.
But part of what I think
is that'd be funny.
Slowing us down.
No, but I'm never going on RD's channel without a mod ever again.
Talk about these things because of the whole, stop the infighting crowd. This might not seem like a generational issue, but in some ways it really is, because when I see people online expressing outrage and frustration that nothing seems to be happening, it often seems like it's members of the baby boomer generation jumping in the comments and scolding people for not being patient enough and lending what could be described as limitless optimism that everything's being handled behind the scenes and justice is coming, just give it more time, trust the plan. Well, what if it isn't? Yeah. And why aren't we allowed to be frustrated and ask these questions without being reprimanded?
Well, I want to say that those questions should be asked and they should be answered. And there have been answers in the past to these same kind of situations.
That is true, right? Like, I think it would be a lot more, I guess, accommodating or maybe even in the slightest bit, like reassuring if the boomers' response was like, I hear you, like, I get it, we see it, but it's not that at all. It's like they're always like playing like teeth gnashing level defense for what's going on, like 110% protective of it, defensive of it. You're halfway critical of it. They throw the accusations at you. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a, et cetera, et cetera. And it then adds to like the contention, right? The anger between everybody is because when you even bring something up. I'm sure many of you guys have experienced this too. I think it was Craig who was even messaging me about, a bad red pill or a failed red pill attempt with someone in his family. And it's like, that's why I'm with Nick on this. Like, I think unless you have like all the signs are there, all the subtleties are there, it's really just going to be a waste of your time to try to red pill somebody. Because even if you're successful, like I've talked about before, like where I'm successful, like I win the argument, or like I make points that like they don't have responses to. All it did for me was it made it so like now all these people don't even engage with me anymore. They don't want to talk. They don't want to have a conversation because they know where it's going to go. And so that's like, you don't really win by that either. So you got to pick these battles wisely, because you ultimately could be setting yourself up to have like a strained relationship, especially if we're talking inside the family. If it's a stranger who really cares, but inside the family, I mean, like those are certain things that you can't really get back. So, do it at your own risk, if you will.
Situations. And I hate to keep going back to Reagan, but that's a model that's worth following. I mean, in the late 1970s, there was immense.
I was going to say,
anger.
I can go to the end where people were saying that we have the Epstein files here. Epstein files, war in Iran. Israel control our government. I mean, we could probably skip to this, right? Does Israel control our government? It's probably a good part to start. Lord, forgive me. Especially because Craig said they start arguing here at the end. So it's still like right here.
The war in Iran, I believe, was something that was long overdue because that was a mortal threat to this country.
They can't hit. They don't have weapons that can actually attack America.
I really wish that we had time
Frank, real quick.
to do this.
Frank, we're currently in a war with them and they can't attack us. So how could they attack us? We're in a war with them and they literally can't attack us.
We are on borrowed time, my friend.
Okay, well, once again, we're debating hypotheticals.
No,
I'm saying we are currently engaged with a conflict with them and they can't attack us here in America, Frank.
Assassination squads that are here in this country right now with a target on Donald Trump's back.
Then why would we start a war with them before we handled that?
The genesis of Iran's war on America and how it is embedded in their regime It is in their constitution. It is in their
George, they had a
theology.
fatwa on using nuclear weapons. Kamani literally had a fatwa on using.
Wait, so are you telling me you're
He
sick
had.
of-
So you think that's fake, Frank?
I think it's bullshit.
So wait a second. It is bullshit.
Kia?
I'm just.
You think propaganda just started a couple decades ago? You don't think fake news existed when you were young? Well, have you ever considered you might be falling for fake news?
I have.
Maybe not seriously enough.
But that's not what's happening.
Whew, dude. Dude.
No, I'm not ignoring anything. I'm watching what's happening in my country.
You're ignoring the fact that what's happening in
Owen's got a knife in a room, dude.
the subversion of it.
6 men and one has a knife.
No mistake about it. Intend to destroy it.
So that's your argument, that Iran is subverting our interests more than any
Iran
other
is
country.
part of the Sharia supremacy.
And next time it'll be Turkey, and next time it'll be this other Muslim country, and then Afghan, and then Qatar. He's already got it. He's already got the list.
allies with Qatar.
They're all Sharia supremacist countries.
You know that we actually have a more meaningful
agenda.
Do you know we have a more meaningful treaty with Qatar than we do with Israel?
Wait.
Rubbish.
Israel is not even a part of the non-proliferation treaty. We can't even have a deal with
Whether we
them.
have a treaty with them or whether we have a relationship with them is more important to me.
So they benefit quite handsomely from that relationship.
They do, and,
And we don't.
quite handsomely as well. Of course we have.
No.
Of course we have.
Let's take your premise in totality, right? You're absolutely right. Iran is trying to kill everybody. What?
Not everybody. Us.
Okay, us. Is this helping? Is the war in Iran helping? I mean, we just got rid of a somewhat moderate leader. A more hardline leader has taken hold. They clearly planned for this attack. I mean, Iran did not start this fight. Iran.
That the Ayatollah Khamenei was a moderate leader.
Compared
All the
comparatively-
moderate Iranians.
It's crazy,
Comparatively
dude.
to the new guy. Yes, the new guy is more.
Possible. They're birds of a feather. They're father and son, for God's sake.
How many
Okay,
countries?
So it's the best. So it's the best. We've done nothing.
He's not even the leader. He's in Russia getting treated because he's deathly ill.
Okay.
The guy who's running it now is the guy that Trump is saying
Yeah.
is going to make.
Oh my bad. I'm in Russia getting treatment because I'm the only surviving person out of a room when my father and my family members and my wife and my children and everyone else died, and I'm the only one that barely survived, probably only because he's like at the apex point of being a male, right? Like I think like mid-30s or so, a bit younger, a bit sprier, surviving off of that. Like, oh yeah, you're right. He should have just died within the first bomb. Like, dude, these people are just insane, dude. Literally insane. Look at these eyes, man. You know, lights on, but no one's home, dude.
Is that really gonna work?
A very devastating problem.
Frank, I have a question. If Trump can't even pick who's going to be the mayor of New York City, do you really think that he can pick who's going to run Iran?
I don't think he can. But I'm saying what he's doing is legitimating this guy.
Do you think we're going to be stuck in this for
Of course, we're going to be stuck in it. How long is it
We've
worth
been
it
stuck
to
in it our
stay?
whole
How long is it? How long should we stay in Iran? I mean, if
Not
things.
in Iran.
We're about to be.
Well, bombing Iran. How long should we keep this up? Like, what is the ultimate goal?
For me?
No. Well, yeah, for the war in Iran.
For the government, I'm speaking for me.
Okay, but what would we do? Are you going to make them all not Muslim? Are we going to kill all of them? No matter what happens, at the end of the day, it's going to be an Islamic country, right? The same thing happened with Bashar al-Assad. He was an Alawite. He was more moderate. Who replaced him? Al-Jawlani, the Al-Qaeda guy. Was that a good thing?
I was not responsible for replacing.
I'm not blaming you. I'm asking for your opinion.
Donald Trump replaced him.
It's the same foreign
It was
policy.
bad. It was a
It's
bad
the same.
policy. It
It's
was
the
not
same
good.
foreign policy. That's what he's saying. It's the same foreign policy.
And it's all part of the same
Which are
movement.
the same? Which are you comparing them to? Al-Jawlani is the same as the Shias. You're absolutely right.
No.
All-
Bashar
they're all-
al-Assad. Bashar al-Assad was an Alawite who protected the minority populations in Syria. Yeah, they kicked him out and they put Al-Jawlani in, who's been killing the Druze, and now the
It's
Israel.
like we had better relationships with Muammar Gaddafi at the end of his reign when Hillary Clinton decided he was going to go.
Oh my god.
Right, and they didn't open up
Netanyahu
the
decided
floodgates to Europe.
This guy is completely wrapped.
This is what's amazing. You can go back online and you can find interviews from the 80s and 90s
online.
before. Are you going to
Well, they're
deny
real
that online
interviews
is real?
with
Guess
the-
where this interview is going? Online.
Sometimes
Okay.
it is.
So
Are you
Netanyahu
not
called
agree that?
Netanyahu called for regime change in Libya and said Gaddafi was making weapons of mass destruction before Hillary Clinton even popped up on the political
There was a
radar.
time when he was.
Of course.
We
And then
disarmed him.
of course.
What
That
happened?
was the best example, actually.
And it-
of
Yes, Libya is such a
dealing with the
success story
weapons
of foreign
mass-
policy. Another success
Well,
story.
you can buy a
of-
slave
my
for
God.
$500 in Libya.
Owen, I'm not saying that. I'm saying.
So you're admitting it's a failure?
When Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama took over the brief, it became a complete fiasco.
Yeah, these people aren't ready.
Muammar Gaddafi and turning him into a guy who was relatively.
They just do not know what's coming.
Big mistake for him.
It was a bit.
But for him, it was a very stupid thing. He never should have
got
got
rid of the nuclear weapons, which everybody else has concluded they now need to have.
because of our actions. Because he agreed to get because he agreed to get
because
rid of
Hillary
nuclear
Clinton
weapons, and he ended up sodomized by his own people as a consequence.
I think we could go back and forth
Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama made that happen.
for a while on this, but before we close out on this topic, I do want to ask you something, Frank, because you said something that I need clarification on, to say the least. Owen asked you if you think that they are anti-Semites, and you said you could be getting a vibe.
I'm getting a vibe.
Yeah, a vibe. So this concerns me
Dude, bro.
because-
Like this guy's talking about he's flirting with genociding all of Islam, And then he's like, but these guys are real anti-Semites, dude. I'm done, bro.
I got to be honest.
You can't. There's just nothing you can really do with these people.
Or Jew hatred. I've heard harsh criticism of the government of Israel. How are we able to criticize any foreign government, in this case, the government of Israel, if we're going to label it anti-Semitic or hatred of an entire group of people for criticizing their government?
So what's up, Mr. Moss? Everybody else who's come in?
I would say that in the present moment, in millennial circles and others, what we are increasingly seeing is people saying horrible things about the government of Israel, because they can say that without directly saying horrible things about the people of Israel or the people that
you're like afraid to say the
can't treat an old dog new tricks.
I'm afraid of what is the upshot of the kinds of critiques that I'm hearing here.
I know, but the word in the sentence you were just saying was
Jews is a word I'm perfectly.
What's up, average Andrew?
This is a question that is, I believe, part of an op. And I think Tucker Carlson has taken it to Russia.
Frank, let me ask you a question.
And let me just answer the question. I'm concerned that people who have concluded that the source of all of the problems in the world,
that's not what
our
we
problems
believe.
in particular, in the Middle East most especially, are because of the Jews, and who now don't say that, but who now say it's the government of Israel.
So that has not been expressed. That has not been expressed once in this conversation. That Jews are to blame for all of our problems.
You're making the cutout.
So you're the one leaping to conclusions. You are, and this is what we.
Here we go.
Hold on a second.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Hold on a second.
It's not what he said.
Hold on a second.
Specifically, what he did not say.
Well, I'd say
specifically
the question was, is there a way to talk about Israel without being anti-Semitic? And it sounds like the answer is
yeah. How many paint chips do I have to eat to become a boomer?
I'm saying when you arrive at the conclusion that Israel is responsible for all of these horrible things that have happened to the United States, you did an entire riff about all of the treasure, all of the lives, all of the Middle East.
And it's all true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Saying that it
in
is
my
all
lifetime.
Israel's fault.
No. I didn't say that. I said they influence our foreign policy.
The government of Israel is manipulating the United States.
Well, let me
That's an obvious fact. Hold on. Let me just say one thing. It is a debate. Hold on a second. Okay, fair. Let me just say one thing. This is what we dealt with from the left. It's funny that you want to say, oh, this is some leftist bent. This is what we deal with. You guys always do that.
They're in their psychological bunkers.
This is what we deal with. Whenever we talk about crime in America, whenever we talk about recipients,
he's getting mad.
Oh, that's racist. It's like, no, I'm making a general observation and having a debate. Now it's the same thing with Israel. Oh, you can't talk about Israel, you're an anti-Semite. Oh, you can't talk about crime rates or you're a racist. That's the woke ideology that has killed this country's political debate. And that's the political correctness of why we can't get out of this phase, because people are so scared to say the truth.
Let me just ask you directly, right, to your faces. When you criticize the government of Israel, is that in any way, shape, or form shorthand for a large...
$9.99 on YouTube. No message.
Thank you very much, Toy Groper. I appreciate it. No, listen. Well, I still enjoy my community, guys. See, you can put messages in there. I've not reached that next tier yet, where the super chats are hateful. But thank you very much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it greatly, man. Thank you.
Hatred or disdain of the Jewish people or Jews in general? No. Is there anything else behind it?
Well, I want to just answer this real quick. First of all, I have a Jewish grandfather. No, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I think that Jews, if I was like in a bad car accident and I went to the ER and I had a black doctor, a Mexican doctor, a Jewish doctor, I'd pick the Jewish doctor. So I do think Jews are good. I'm saying I like Jews. I just feel like I'm an American.
That's hilarious.
And I don't like foreign countries dictating our foreign policy. So that's really where it comes from. It's no anti-Semitism whatsoever. And
I've heard him say that at least like 3 or 4 times in my life.
I was baptized, and I don't agree with Sharia law whatsoever, but Muslims do treat Jesus Christ with more respect than Judaism, and I feel like that is a big issue that we talk about a lot. Like, at least they do.
I will say, listen, like I haven't been asked enough times to be triggered by answering maybe the same question, which is funny, like the book one there from Became Numa. What book should I read to be red pilled?
That he's going to come back at the end of times and kill.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Is that RD? It possibly could be.
Well, what does the Talmud say? I mean, it's not.
Harrison, you didn't answer the question.
That guy looks a little too good to be RD, if you ask me.
There's an element missing from this conversation, and it's done intentionally in Western media.
Mr. Moss_, he sent $5 on YouTube. Name 15 different countries bordering Afghanistan. Also, what's your favorite ice cream? Recommend 30 books, please.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I could name 2. Iran and Iraq both border Afghanistan. Man, this is rough, dude. This is rough. What's on the south side? What's on the southern side of Afghanistan? Oh man, you put me on the spot. Well, at least I gave you 2. What's the other one? Also, what's my favorite ice cream? Oh man, favorite ice cream. You know, this is going to be a crazy answer. You guys are gonna hate this. I don't like ice cream. I actually don't like ice cream. Believe it or not, I don't. But if I had to pick, I think I would do something like, I like the mocha flavors. Before I have like the mocha flavors. So like any of the coffee ones or like espresso flavored ice cream, those ones are pretty good. But I don't care for ice cream. Any other kind of like dairy stuff like that. And recommend 30 books, please. Oh man. Well, I would have to start with the greatest book of all, Atlas Shrugged. But no, just kidding. No, please take it from me. Don't start there. Don't start there. You know, I'm actually, we're working backwards from unlearning that.
At Toygroy percent $4.99 on YouTube. That's so true, Atlas. Want a summary of what you just said in paragraph form?
Dude, those ones are good. Those ones are really good. That one's hilarious, dude. I do appreciate the super chats. Thank you both. But those ones are the good ones too. When it's like he's at the very end of his show and he gives his whole take, and the user's like, so I definitely agree with what you said about this, and they literally just restate the entire show in like a paragraph. It's like, dog. It's like they come in, they're like, oh hey, no. I thought the same thing too. I definitely thought all of those things before you said them. It's like, dude, let's super chats are crazy. But if I did have a good book to recommend, The Sword of Christ by Giles Corey. Sword of Christ by Giles Corey is really good. I like this. That's it's unsubscribed. That's funny. That's hilarious. Do the Sword of Christ by Giles Corey. I recommend the 2 that I got from Faith and Heritage. Sword of Christ by Giles Corey and the Faith and Heritage anthology. Those 2 are really good. And I'm getting ready to start Hyphenated Heresy by Joel Webbin and Jordan Hall. I haven't started it yet though, but my dad gave it to me. Well, I got it maybe a page into it before I was reading it. But those are my recommendations. Thank you for the super chats though. I appreciate it.
Is dealing with his own issues in his own country. There's people in the streets protesting Netanyahu almost every day. The Orthodox Jews have issues with Netanyahu all over the world.
Unsubscribed from my ice cream taste. That's
right
crazy.
Now is wanting to put Netanyahu on trial. So this idea that somehow every single Jew agrees with the current U.S. foreign policy or the actions of Netanyahu, I think if anything, that's more anti-Semitic than sitting here and trying to have an open conversation about foreign policy.
I'm a fitness nut, dude.
But you never see any of that in the Western media. So it's this idea that, oh, it's this one train of thought, single foreign policy, everyone agrees with all of these different ideas, and that simply isn't true. And so because you don't see that other side of the spectrum, let's say from a Israeli Jew or an American Jew, since you don't see that other side of the spectrum.
No, Nick, you have to help me. They're attacking me for ice cream.
Everyone's thinking the same, then you must have some inherent hatred.
But what about you?
Asmongold, if you can hear me.
No, I mean, I can't even believe that I'm having this conversation, quite frankly.
But I want to clear it up.
Well, this is why I go back to what happens when we talk to the left and they say you're a racist if you disagree with Black Lives Matter, or you're a homophobe if you don't like LGBTQ+.
I agree with that comparison, I mean.
And I think that it's basically the same thing. And we're sitting here as millennials, we're like, what are you talking about? We grew up with all these people. I grew up with.
That's how it is for me.
Black people,
Makes you feel
Jewish people. Nobody cared. We all talked open-minded, and now all of a sudden I have a foreign policy opinion, and it's like I've changed. No.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that really most of my criticism of Israel, I think if Israel had listened to my criticism early on, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in now, which I think is a good situation for the people on the ground in Israel or for the fate of Israel as a nation.
Earlier I literally thought about making like an Adam Schefter trade tweet. I thought about this earlier today. I was like, the Groypers are trading Sneeko for a second round pick in Asmongold. I thought about doing that earlier, but I didn't. Because I actually kind of forgot about it.
I think they operate against their own interests a lot of times, but you'll be called anti-Semitic if you criticize it. So while it's like my motivation to criticize Israel is not born from anti-Semitism, it's not because they're Jewish. The reason people defend it or say I shouldn't talk about Israel is because they're Jewish. So I think the way anti-Semitism as concept is weaponized makes it hard to talk about Israel and makes it almost impossible to talk about the actual issues with Israel because it always gets pulled and yanked into a conversation about anti-Semitism when that's not really what we're talking about. And that's a strategy. I mean, they've gone through and redefined anti-Zionism to be anti-Semitism and all the social medias and everything like that. So like at this point, if you criticize Israel, it goes into the chart of anti-Semitism. And so then they can show that chart and say, look, it's anti-Semitism rising. Really, it's just criticism of Israel.
Who's they?
The Jews do this sort of stuff. I mean, the ADL, the AIPAC, the places that are incentivized for there to be more anti-Semitism, right? The more anti-Semitism there is, the more they can get donations, the more power they can accrue to themselves. Again, it's not because they're Jewish that this is happening. People do this for all types of people, but obviously it happens with the Jews as well. So, right?
Look, I'm delighted that there's not an anti-Semite in the room, and all I'm suggesting is don't blame all the world's problems on Israel.
And that never happened once.
It has happened.
It is them, isn't it? Here's what I would say to this, though, if you want me to be honest. Because people still keep playing defense on the anti-Semite tag. You know how, like, when you get called racist and people are like, call me whatever you want, I don't care. The anti-Semitism, though, people are still doing what we were doing 10 years ago, which is like, no. I'm not an anti-Semite. No. I'm just saying, screw it. Like, just do it the same way with the racist tag. You can call me whatever you want. The fact is, the truth is, and just brute force past it, run through it like the screen door that it is. And that's one thing I still see, because they just talked a little bit ago about the political correctness kind of being the what's killing, putting the nail in the coffin on the political ecosystem. Well, yeah, so then like let's not attribute into it. Let's not go along with it. The same way that they were like, who cares what we're getting called? Just keep going. They've been doing a good job on this, but still, I do see people in general, they get called anti-Semite, they play the defense. But when they get called racist, they're like, so what if I am? Then anti-Semite, they're like, wait, hold on, I'm not actually. Yeah, let's not play the defense.
Repeatedly tonight.
Not in this conversation.
Well, I mean, America has a lot to blame for our issues. I mean,
policy, in terms of the Middle East, in terms of...
This is because we have a disagreement. We believe Israel is the #1 influencer of our foreign policy, and that's what we believe, and I think it's pretty obvious. You guys disagree.
I do.
And that doesn't mean that they're responsible for all problems, but...
No, the suggestion was made several times tonight that it is. And look, if that's not the case, all the better. Great. Then
you don't want every Jewish person on the planet to be held in the same regard as Netanyahu.
Who's making that kind of claim?
Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin.
Hold on a second. I just got a super chat, but it didn't come through. It did not come through for some reason. He fixed this here. Maybe I can get it to replay on the events thing. Big Ripper says, don't dox me, but do you know who I am yet? Yes or no? I do not. I do not. But forgive me, I want to make sure that this is going to work and be correct. I do not know. So resetting this. Unsure why it had such an issue. I'm sure you guys can see it in the YouTube chat. I'm having to reset it over here now. Which is weird because I didn't touch anything and it still stopped. Like, bro, we might have to go back to social stream at this rate. Like, it's crazy. Like, I swear I'm the only person that uses Power Chat that has this many problems. Ew, was it Jared Kushner? Is it Anna Kasparian? No. I wasn't that excited. Let me go to the events here. Oh, I can't because it's through the Power Chat. Ah, it makes sense. It's not even showing up on here. That's interesting. Oh, well. Anyways, it's working again. It's Sneeko? Is it Sneeko? Sneeko, if you can hear me. I mean, he did stop in. I mean, I ended up on his YouTube page somehow, dude. I'm wondering if I have a friend who's like close to, Big Roper says, I've been watching a while, but I changed the name. It's definitely not Nick or anyone notable. Okay. That is interesting. Twig Roper. That's interesting. I'd have to think about it. Maybe I'd have to. I'll have to go to like the community page to look at some of the older usernames to see if I can find one that's not there anymore. No, you'll keep me on my toes. Because I'm typically good with some of the names here of these people.
Promotional ideas.
Or Israel or the government of Israel or Bibi Netanyahu are suggesting that somehow it's all one big monolithic thing.
Which is even worse.
There are some people in Israel.
I think it's Pine Sap.
No doubt about it.
I think Pine Sap kept his name the same.
He's being prosecuted. There's no
At
question.
least as far as I know, he's still got the same YouTube handle.
The point is, from my perspective, what he has done historically, and particularly in this past couple of years, has been not only absolutely essential to the survival of Israel, but of value to us as well.
Isn't
I'm assuming I'm going to feel bad if I don't get it, if I don't guess it, probably.
And says their very survival is at stake. So how is that a good thing?
And do you think that Israel's...
Or do you know me IRL?
Forever, for all time, so I
know
as long as you've got Sharia supremacy.
And why is this my problem? It's not.
That is going to be continuing.
Can I ask a question? Because we were talking about this off camera, so I want to ask, like, what about what's going on in the West Bank with Israel destroying the last Christian settlements there that have been there since the time of Jesus?
I don't believe that's true.
You don't
they
think
did
that's
bomb the church. They bombed the last Catholic church.
Taba is the last all-Christian settlement, and they're annexing it. They're driving the people out, and they're starting fires there and burning it, right?
I don't believe that's true.
Okay,
so you don't think Israel's expanding at all right now?
What about Lebanon?
Well, I want to ask two questions. I just want to ask two questions.
Israel is trying to deal with the threat that they are facing.
So that's a nice packaged way to say they're expanding.
In the West.
I was going to say, definitely don't dox yourself.
This is why they're losing this is why they're losing the propaganda war, and why young people are becoming more, outspoken when it comes to Israel. Is that even the IDF admits that they have a 84% civilian casualty rate in Gaza. So I understand that Hamas is there, but if the
Wait, is this Toy Groper's Donald Trump?
That's a little egregious. And then on top of that, we start this Iran war. The reason we're anti-war is because they bomb a school with 170 kids, and it's hard to defend that. You know what I mean?
Well, and you guys argue that you only care about America, you just want to put America first,
we
care about American interests, and now you're getting deeply involved with Israel and Gaza and what's going on there, which...
Or is it Donnie?
...your life in any way.
Did Donnie change his name to Toy
foreign
Groper?
policy, and we send them a lot of money, so I mean it does.
Donnie's been MIA for weeks, dude. I don't even know what he's up to anymore.
It indicates that the
That's the IDF stats.
84%
is civilians.
I've never seen that.
Well, Google it.
But this is the thing is that when you say
the piece of this is the kind of war that they've been fighting, which they did not start, is in the worst kind of conditions imaginable.
That's not an excuse, though.
It is an excuse if you're in a war.
I don't think it is.
It looks like
I don't think it is.
Compared to what we.
Well, it's a war when one side does it. It's not a war when the other side does it. And this is the illogic.
Wait a minute, guys. I believe it is indisputably the case that the war that they have fought has been with the fewest casualties in urban warfare in history.
That's crazy.
Certainly far better.
Have you seen Gaza?
That is
so true.
That is
than ours.
unsupportable by the facts. Absolutely not.
It's a fraction of what we did in Fallujah.
As we head toward the end of this conversation, and perhaps this is the best time to ask this question because the whole point of this conversation is to deal with and expose the divide, and I think we've done that. So a lot of focus right now is on the midterm.
So where are we going now? How do Republicans win? Can we repair the divide? We'll probably just listen to this last final segment if we go to the end, because we're going to talk about unifying and shit. They're probably not going to happen at all. Yeah, win the midterms, definitely not happening. And here's another side point too. Like, if you just look at like the journalists as well too, there's like been more journalists killed in just the Israel-Gaza conflict overall than like all of like World War II. And I think the World Wars combined now at this point, it's like something close. It's like approaching 300 plus now of journalists who have been killed. And that's just like one figure, let alone all the other figures coming out about the civilians or combatants, if you will, who have been killed. Like, just such BS that they say that. I mean, this guy's literally word for word repeating the Hasbara. It's like he just got a pep talk from Emily Austin, whatever her name is.
And the question is, how do we win the midterms? But perhaps more importantly, is there even a we anymore? Are we a we? And if we are, how do we win the midterms?
There's not a we here between these two.
I love that logic because that's exactly what you're asking Americans for this war in Iran, to pay more for gas. But I'm not.
Don't go. We're not talking about Iran right
that's
now.
Logic.
You love switching the topic. We're talking about.
They already did another one.
If you're going to ask Americans to pay more for gas for a war in the Middle East for foreign and special interests, but you're not going to ask Americans to pay more to keep Americans employed in our own country?
I'm more than happy to discuss the Iran war. I'm more than happy to talk about the Iran war. More than happy, and it's not going to go well for you. Trump has been talking about since 1981 that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, and said in.
Skip this part. I'm trying to think of who is. So it's Gavin McInnes, some guy I don't know. Is that Blair White? Like, who is that on the third row? And then I don't know who that is on the other side. But it looks like it's Clint Russell, Owen Schroyer, and Maybe it's just those two. I don't know.
Perspective of how do Republicans maintain the House and the Senate? Let's put it in that perspective.
Fair enough.
Is he from Jersey Shore?
With Doge, you'd have to go all the way. I'd say at least 500 billion in savings annually. I'd like to see $1 trillion, and then I'd like to see mass arrests of the people that committed the waste, fraud, and abuse. That's what we voted for. That's what most Americans would support. I think you have to get out of the Middle East entirely.
I have no idea.
Voters that are disenfranchised on the right and the anti-war left, that can save the midterms. You got to do something about the Epstein files. I mean, I don't know exactly what, but something. You can't have nobody get arrested. You can't not make any statements. And you got to do the mass deportations. And of all the things, that might actually have the least impact, quite frankly, when you talk about actual votes.
Our supreme leader has spoken.
You got to cut all the foreign aid. You got to go all the way with Doge, and then you need to arrest people that engaged in this waste, fraud, and abuse. That's the only thing that can save the midterms, in my eyes.
Well, and I think the illusion that we have a two-party system is totally fake. We have a uniparty, and I think the best example of that is the fact that they won't even pass the SAVE Act. So they give us this illusion that it's right versus left, but really they're on the same team. So I don't think the midterms are going to go our way, and I don't even think they're salvageable, honestly, because they've lost every special election, and especially in Mar-a-Lago's district, they just lost to Democrats. So if you just kind of if you read the tea leaves, it's not looking good, and I don't know what Hail Mary is going to save it.
Well, I have to say that speaking of regime change, what we really need is regime change at the RNC and get people in there who aren't part of the uniparty, who actually want to win elections, and will go out and do the stuff necessary to win elections. And yes, there are policies.
We basically reached the end of what this is going to cover. Midterms are unsalvageable, by the way. There is no way that the midterms are going to get salvaged in any way, shape, or form. So that's kind of a dead idea. I will say this guy probably was the best one between the three of them. If you had to listen to all three of them, woman kind of was not that outspoken, especially during the Iran war element. This guy clearly is literally trash, absolute trash. He probably is Jewish by all accounts, I would imagine. Not surprising there. So so which one do you guys want to go to next? So we have the Pearl Davis and should wives obey their husbands? We have Ian Carroll retiring from journalism, and then we have Sneeko and Owen Benjamin. So I'm going to put that in the poll here for a second. We put a poll here, actually. I'll put a poll first. Let's see here. Oh, man. Pearl Davis. Ian Carroll. And this is how I type, too. I sound out every word. This is how I learned it from Sneeko and Jake Shields. They taught me. Sneeko, Owen Benjamin. Okay, I just put that through. Let it sit for a couple of seconds. The reason I wanted to cover the Pearl Davis one specifically was because she did it at evangelical places and Catholic, and at a Catholic church, and at I think she went to a parish, an Orthodox parish. Forgive me, I just absolutely drop kicked my PlayStation 5 across the floor. We'll have to check on that in a second. I absolutely yeeted that thing. Looking like Sneeko and Owen Benjamin is winning by far, right? Okay, we'll give it a second. Who's we? Okay, looking like this is where we're going. People are saying, what's even the Ian Carroll thing? Ian Carroll was he's retiring from journalism, or so he said. He put out a 15-minute video, I believe, about a few days ago, like 3, 4, 5 days ago. And I just was unsure of what the reasoning was or what he had said inside of it. So Sneeko, Noah, and Benjamin. Okay, so we doing clips. So you guys want to try to watch the whole thing? I don't know if I don't even know how long the whole thing is. Let me find it. He put it on YouTube. Benjamin. Oh, it's only like an hour long. We can watch it at 1.25.
I think they hate Islam so much.
Okay. Sneeko and Owen Benjamin won. Gonna go ahead and end it. Okay. Let's see it. Let's find it. 1.25. Let's rip them. Oh, you guys are saying clips? You want to do clips instead of the whole thing? All right. Okay. Let's run through some clips then here. Owen Benjamin and Sneeko subtweet Nick Fuentes. All right. All right. Pull it up. Pull it up, Jarvis.
These despair merchants, you know, when Ian did that video about how it was really cool and he felt inspired to be productive, people were freaking out, like negative. They're like, oh, how dare you? It's like, why are you upset that someone wants to be productive? It's because, you know, the most revolutionary thing Ye ever said, the thing that I think really scared the grabblers was slavery's a choice, because it is. You have to have victim consciousness, and you want to give away your authority to be a slave. And so the slave drivers and their little lieutenants, they need you to think like it's someone else is doing something to you all the time. And that keeps you in a slave mentality. These despair merchants.
I guess he's calling Nick a despair merchant. Seems to be. Here's a longer one. This is from Bugenhagen as well. Because at this point, I think Owen is going for the world record of consecutive streams. So is this not with? That's from another one. So. Okay, here's a clip. This is Sneeko discuss claims that Islam is replacing the white race. Okay.
What about
it's not
white replacement?
What?
This doesn't scare you that the white race is declining and that Islam is destroying the white race?
No, I mean, Islam isn't a race. So if somebody has the ability of having a child and thriving in a time of despair, then good for them. That's just the natural, that's real eugenics. So no, I'm not.
Tucker and Sneeko interview.
Can't have a child because they need a nicer car and they're afraid and all this stuff. Well, then that's the deal. And if I always respect people with kids, so it's like if Muslims are having kids, good for them. You know, that's a testament to their faith, because that's investing in the future. It's saying that God is good and that the devil is not in control and that we'll always find a way. And I respect that.
That's your only real legacy is your children. Everything else is going to be forgotten. Everything else fades away. But your children, that's your lineage. That's the only thing that actually does stay, and that you.
Yeah, Rebecca has clearly aligned herself against Nick at this point.
It's the greatest. I mean, I love being a father. I learned so much from my kids. And the white replacement thing.
This is cold.
There's more white people in America right now than there was in 1950. There's just also a bunch of other people who can be annoying, and they can, you know, throw around and whatnot. But it's just, we have to earn our own shit. A lot of white people think they deserve all this credit. I hear these whites sometimes be like, well, we built the cathedrals and they built mud huts. I'm like, show me right now, build a mud hut. They can't build a mud hut. They're useless. You know, and I've had some of the whites get mad at me because I'm like, yeah, you should be replaced if you won't work, you're full of despair, you're a pervert, you freak out on everyone on the internet all day. Like, yeah, why would the future want you? You didn't build the cathedrals. Great people built the cathedrals with faith and hard work. You're just trying to...
This is crazy.
So your dick looks bigger or something. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't last in this realm.
There was some philosopher who said that in a declining empire, people start taking credit for their ancestors.
These whites can't even build mud huts. You deserve to die. Okay, he's always had to reach, man.
Achievements because they have none.
That's the argument, actually.
That's so true, man. I see that with the whites more than anybody.
Yeah, I do.
Where it's just, I get very annoyed by it. It's like, oh, we did this. And I'm like, these are the same people that won't help you, like, build a chicken coop. They're like, oh, sorry, I just can't. I'm whacking it.
It's funny that became the we was Kangs, is the white people talking about, the Greeks and talking about the Italians and this is the new we was Kangs, talking about what your ancestors did instead of doing anything yourself.
Bro, what? What? Like, what did I just listen to? By the way, that is crazy red. I don't even know how to respond to something like that. He says, like, whites don't even know how to build mud huts. Okay, like, is learning mud huts the first step into building like a home? No. Like, and then secondarily from that, he goes, well, these whites don't want to help me build a chicken coop. And it's like, well, you were just talking about cathedrals. In no way, shape, or form is a chicken coop in the same realm as a tier of a building or architecture of a cathedral. A chicken coop is basically one level above a mud hut. And again, he's just like, he's so, I feel bad for him. Everything's always got to be some kind of sexual innuendo. It's always got to have some kind of like, I mean, he's mind raped by the whole like millennial boomer stuff. Everything's got to be about poo poo and pee pee. Like this guy, it's so cringe. Like I can't stand that stuff. It's like, what's more cringe? A poo poo pee pee millennial or a Disney adult? What actually is more cringe? I think I would actually rather be around a Disney adult than I would rather be around someone who's like, the coffee looks like poop. Oh no, how'd you spell cum? C-U-M or C-O-M-E? Like, it's like that. It's so cringe, bro. I'm sorry. It's so ungodly cringe. Okay, we got another one here. That's the same clip of what we just covered. Here's a 30-second one from Howling Groiper.
Art of war, like you're already demoralized, and it's the all-powerful God. I mean, putting Jews above God is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems to be people's religion. Now, it kind of flipped. It was so many Jews had that victim consciousness and talking about the Holocaust, and now you see the people talking about the Jews made the Jews their Holocaust. They were full circle on this.
Yeah, art of war.
This is crazy coping, dude. Crazy coping. How many times has Sneeko talked to Owen? It's like at least 3 different clips of 3 different times we've seen. Oh, here's an N-word debate. Sneeko and Owen Benjamin debate whether the N-word is about race or behavior and why people give words so much power. It's about the behavior, not the racial identity. Being black doesn't make you a criminal. It's not the racial identity. It's the behavior.
Broken down a lot, but the idea of the N-word is still like so, it's stronger than I thought it was. I thought people would be able to, see that this is just a word, and like obviously, yeah, words are hurtful.
It's a crazy spell, dude. You want me to break down the spell of it?
Can you please?
It's actually super anti quote unquote black, because as you can see, what happens is like every group you can have a subgroup that does things. It's about the behavior, not the racial identity. So when you and I openly say it. I just won't in case you're on some platform or something, just out of respect to you. But I will say N-word, but I philosophically think that's ridiculous. But it's like, so you have white trash.
Yeah, trash,
right?
meat,
You have
garbage.
like redneck. You have like. You have these different subgroups that's based on behavior. Like if you have a white guy doing meth, stealing copper, white trash, right? If you remove that ability, like that Chris Rock joke, nailed it in the 90s. Nailed it. Because is it a black guy that stole your bike, or is it the N? Right? Because being black doesn't make you a criminal. You see how it psychologically flips it, where then people start saying, oh, black people commit 50% of the murders or whatever. And you're like, no, hard ends, right? It's like being black doesn't make you anything. It's not like a defining thing. It's not. That's why I call Jews grabblers, because the Jews did the opposite, where the pejorative is the same word.
So is it a distinction or is it not?
How the only way you can tell if it's a pejorative is in the eyebrows. Like there's Jews and then there's Jews, right? Because that's why I started calling them grabblers. because grabbling is the behavior. Like, you picture the hand rubbing, the loopholing, like the gypsy bullshit grabbler, like the con man, versus just like the identity of a Jewish man. And so the black and hard N is almost like the opposite of Jew and Jew. Like, when Bilzerian was on TMZ, and they were flipping out on him because he called a fat Jew a fat Jew. It's like,
I'm moving into the strong belief that if you listen to Owen Benjamin for like hours on end, you probably will catch schizophrenia. Like, first ever case of contagious schizophrenia is coming from this guy.
that's literally what the guy is, you know? And they were acting like it was a pejorative, and he's like, Jew, though. It's the same word. And so when you have, it's so dehumanizing when, if you can convince a black guy that they can't hear a word without losing all their power, oh, that's a brutal spell, man. I feel bad for those dudes. I'm just like, man, that's a rough one.
He's got a Jewish mind. Leave him alone.
Power. You're just like, yeah, any white man just utters a spell like Voldemort, and you just become an animal and freak out. And I mean, I'm fortunate that I don't know any of those people personally, but I've seen them on CNN.
There's people like that in every group, and I say this when people get.
I've never seen it framed that way, but that's actually interesting. King Dibbles, Rolf says, well, I'm Gen X and I've been preaching about the JP, P for problem. There are no longer any questions since the 90s. Can't tell you how awesome it is seeing people finally waking the F up. And that is interesting that it's moved from the question to the problem. The question has been answered. Now we're moving on to solving the problem. Some of that, the wordage, the verbiage there maybe getting closer to close to triggering. But that is interesting because that's kind of, I think, the concept here, which is if the JQ's moved into the mainstream, has it now become the JP? You know, does everyone understand the question? Or we're moving on to finding the answer. That's actually a great way to. I've never seen it framed that way. But thank you for the comment.
Upset, they're like, well, it's not just a word, it has all this hurt. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but look,
what though? Like, but what's the pain? Like, what is the pain?
They'll say slavery. So the slavery is yeah.
Dude, picking cotton is the easiest job in the entire world. Like, I was trying to grow cotton, but it died this year. I mean, you can fill a giant bag of cotton and it's like 1 pound. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, why does anyone get upset that they like worked in a field?
It's just crazy.
That's what our ancestors all did.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'll say to them. It's like, okay, so someone called you this word and it's hurtful, right? But are you that? Are you an N?
Right.
It's like I've had people come up, and if I'm like, I've been praying in a park or something with a couple people, and then people will yell like terrorist. Do you think I'm going to start acting wild and like detonate a bomb?
Exactly.
No, it's not like because I'm not a terrorist. So like they'll say these things, but I'm not that. So I'm not going to, I don't care. Also, this guy does not matter to me. So why am I going to give him an emotional reaction?
Exactly, dude.
But
exactly.
It's hard to
but that's the big trick. That's the big trick.
That's the big trick, is to not be emotionally triggered by a word. They figured it out. They have figured it out, guys. We have solved the problem of the N-word. Will the blacks take the lesson? This is about what made Owen Benjamin move away from urban life. Don't really know if I care too much about that one. I'll bookmark it in case we don't see another one. Sneeko asked Owen Benjamin how pursuing the truth relates to comedy. This is another one. Covered that one. It's only an hour long, so it's probably not too much. Okay. Owen Benjamin on his appearance with Tucker. Whoever this guy is clipped like the entire thing.
Tucker made a great comparison to how, people made the Holocaust their religion, and it doesn't work anymore because of the active Holocaust going on now. I really liked your
Owen Benjamin and Shed the Builder live stream. That'd be crazy.
Carol also talked
an IRL one.
How he had a shift in mindset there. I think people are starting to realize that there's like I think we reached the end of the
Who goes to jail first?
It became all red pill, schizo, JQ, and now people are like, okay, we can't just keep yelling the same points.
Yeah.
USS Liberty, 9/11 over and over again. What now? What do we do? And
I got a head start.
They'll continue to chimp out until we build a time machine.
You guys, 'cause it's like I don't have that chip on my shoulder, and I went through that, and there's something to seeing systems, seeing through the bullshit. finding liability shields. Like the Holocaust is a liability shield. Whatever happened doesn't even matter. It's how it's used. Where it's like, because of this event, you can't question me. I'm in a permanent victim class, all that. It's just like nonsense. And so once you break through that and you understand, that's why I wrote the book, How to Slay a Wizard, because I like showing people how spells work, like how these things actually work, these word spells. Then the highest form of anti-Semitism is gratitude and productivity. You know, it's so true. That's why I'm friends with some Islamic scholars and stuff. Like I respect your religion because a lot of it makes it very hard to penetrate with grabbles if you actually follow the Islamic rules about, you know, usury and pornography and alcohol and all this stuff. It's like it's a defense manual. And
this is a serious question. Like, is Owen Christian? Like, what is his, I guess, religiosity? What is his ideology there? I really don't, to be honest, I've heard a lot from Owen Benjamin, and I would not be able to put him on a map anywhere because it's just all over the place. I don't know if if he goes to church, it seems like he would be aligned with it, ultimately. But at the same time, it's also like, what's all this Islam glazing? What's all this?
And I think that's one reason why people spiral about Islam is because it's pretty laid out about the behaviors that can help you not fall victim to these spells.
He's just Jewish.
These despair merchants. You know,
that's like the easier answer. Yeah, fair.
About how it was really cool and he felt inspired to be productive. People were freaking out, like negative. They're like, "Oh, how dare you!" It's like, why are you upset that someone wants to be productive?
It's like a Mormon. Oh, come on, you two.
The most revolutionary thing Ye ever said, the thing that I think really scared the grabblers was slavery's a choice, because it is. You have to have victim consciousness, and you want to give away your authority to be a slave. And so the slave drivers and their little lieutenants, they need you to think like it's someone else is doing something to you all the time. And that keeps you in a slave mentality. And I think the future is extremely bright. I think the youth, you know, I have 4 little kids. It's like when people act like, you know, because of housing prices and women are and all that there's no future. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? The future is very, very bright. The 90s were very nihilistic.
I always heard the opposite. I don't know, maybe it just everything seems like the grass is green on the other side. But maybe it's also just looking.
It just feels like a conversation happening like outside of time. And somehow this is like less. This is just overall just like less substantive, less entertaining than like boomers arguing with millennials somehow.
Into things too much because if you look at the White House yesterday tweeted that they were going to release the UFO files and they posted this AI video of an alien jumping over the border. It's as ridiculous as I'm describing it right now. You wouldn't believe it until you actually see this stuff. So if you look at all this stuff and you see the rhetoric from like the Hegseth and the Trumps and this stuff, you could think that the world's going to end soon. Why are you?
He's a pagan and Islam is a better.
Because that's all marketing. It's like people are faster to react to a lion than a banana. I described that like 9 years ago on a podcast where instinctively a threat gets you to react faster and more powerful than a potential reward. Because you can have a banana and you know, you might be a little hungry, but if something's ready to kill you, move, buy, click, subscribe. And that is from the love of money, you know, and I don't love money. Like I need to make money, but hang on. Something just happened. Are you still there?
Yeah, let's go to mine.
Are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
All right. So, yeah, people put money above their morality. They'll do anything to get more money, and fear gets you more money. You know, victim consciousness. Yeah. It's like alleviating somebody of their responsibility and saying, no, it's the left, right? Or it's mean Mr. Mustache, or it's even the Jews. I mean, that's a new form of victim consciousness where if you think that they're in control of the world and there's nothing you can do and it's only a matter of time until the AI drone swarms kill every based guy, that's art of war. Like you're already demoralized and it's bull. I mean, putting Jews above God is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems to be people's religion. Now, it kind of flipped. It was so many Jews had that victim consciousness and talking about the Holocaust, and now you see the people talking about the Jews made the Jews their Holocaust.
I just like this is. I don't know, maybe I'm just like, I'm burnt out. My brain's just like busted. I'm like, I'm having a very difficult time even following this conversation, dude. Like, I can't tell if it's like, I swear it's Owen. It's not me. It's not me, dude. I swear. But it is like, it's just nonsensical. Like, we're just, shapeshifter. Like, it's all, we're just like slithering around. Sneaky snake. Sneaky snake. It's, and think about all this, right? Like, Sneeko straight up, it says, you know, I can't, I can't do a collab with Nick. It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna be bad. But let me do a collab with everyone else that hates you and A-logs you and is literally in the middle of like attacking you right now. Like, just insane. The whole thing of this whole interview has got to have been like a bit of a sneak diss towards Nick. I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick while it's playing out though.
Full circle on this.
Yeah, and that's why to really own it and say, what can we learn from Gaza so it never happens again? Let's talk about what actually happened. Let's not whitewash it. We can mourn the children and mourn the loss, and how can we, moving forward, not get dependent, like not get in a situation where that could happen again. And that's how you honor the dead. That's how you honor your future generations is just to learn. And it's actually much more demeaning to them too. When you look at them almost as like a coyote pacing a fence and less of like some supernatural deity that'll keep you from having a future. That's they squirt to that, man. They love that.
Well, it's still going on. I mean, didn't they just bomb some
Lebanon? Yeah, dude, it's hard.
Not even just Lebanon. I saw aid camps in Gaza. They're bombing. They're expanding into Lebanon. I would like to be like, all right, well, let's learn from what. But they don't.
But
stop,
what can you do? I mean, so what do you do? I mean, despair is the thing that feeds it. Because if there was something you could actually do right now, like I'm all about it. But what can you possibly do with the system doing this?
Ooh, perfect timing. That's fast. That's lightning fast. I don't know, man. I don't even think it's worth watching any of this. That felt like maybe one of the most dog shit interviews I think I've seen in a long time. Oh man. I mean, I can keep going if you guys want to. It's up to you guys. This just, I was like more entertained by the millennial stuff than whatever this is. You guys tell me, we keep going. Because we got one here about declining birth rates in the white race. Then what were these other two? Pursuing the truth relates to comedy. And Owen Benjamin's story of moving away from the city. Booger says, I'm tired of Negro Cole. I agree. I'm right there with you. You guys tell me. I completely agree. Because I'm just not interested. I don't really care about the city life. I don't really care about him being a comedian or, used to be or whatever. We kind of watched a couple of these already. Oh, yeah. Irish, Czech, Jewish. Makes sense. This is, this would be, maybe would be a decent one. Dude. Yeah. Brother Sneeko. Yes. Okay. Sneeko asked Owen Benjamin regarding the notion that Jews generally do not engage in manual labor. Oh, let's take a listen. This might be a decent one.
You're out there in the woods and you build things. There's this movie, I think Ryan Gosling's playing this like neo character, and he's talking how like Jews don't have a homeland. They never build anything. They just make money in finance. And you look at Epstein and he's saying that the Goyim work in the real world, we work in finance and in Wall Street. Have you seen, well, what is it about Jews that prevents them from being able to break a piece of wood?
I don't know, but the Jews that get along with the best are the ones that are capable of doing manual labor. I think that the underlying thing is the refusal to do manual labor because it's so freeing. And it gets you out of your, because one thing that I think happens to a lot of Jews, and if you truly don't hate them and you actually view them with compassion, you can really see how they work. And they can get lost in their philosophies and theorems and you know what I mean? They're like so in their head. Yeah.
Woody Allen temperament,
Yeah. So Jesus was a carpenter. That's one of the biggest factors where it's like that piece of wood you can't manipulate with a spell. It's like the nail goes through it or it does not. And so the real world is constantly slapping you, like get out of your head, like you're not like these models. They create dark matter and all this stuff, and it's like, show me in reality, and then they develop a disdain for reality. That's when they're really on a downward spiral.
So they saying like what they experience manual labor, and then like and then they hate life. It's like he's just kind of been on this for a hot minute about this whole the manual labor element, both for Jews and both for regular white people as well too. Apparently, the only people who handle manual labor well are black people. I guess seems to be.
So, is it something that's within the ethnicity, or I'm of the belief that it's the chosen idea that's in the Torah, where it's people have misconstrued. So many rabbinical Jews believe that the chosen people means that there's supreme, and it's kind of this idea that the world has been cruel to the Jews.
Spot on.
They have been expelled in many places, and so they always live in that. This is the victim consciousness, like they are owed something that they haven't received yet, that they need payback.
That's what I mean. Why they're so feminine. They want to be adorned with fancy robes, and they want to be listened to about the pain they've been through, and they want to be treated like the princesses that.
I agree, man. With SSBB right here, I'm glad that Sneeko decided to interview Owen and talk about spells and manual labor rather than talking with Nick about the AFUQ or really anything. Could have just had an open conversation about all the attacks. Sneeko probably could have been a host. He probably could have done someone like brought in other people that he could have been hosting, and maybe a little debate or discussion between them and everybody. But this is cold, dude. This is like absolute cold. Like, my gosh, dude. Like, even if I had a free hour of time, I would not have listened to that at 2 times speed. Dude, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on from this. I'm gonna put it in the chat here. We're gonna put a poll back up. I'm gonna put Pearl and Ian Carroll back in. But I'm going to leave a slot for other. If there's something else you guys want me to go to. Ian Carroll retiring. Earl Davis. Should wives obey their husbands? And other. Oh, I guess I gotta get. Gosh, dude, so many dumb rules. Another one. I mean, I'm gonna be doing all of them. It's just a matter of what. It's just a matter of what order we're gonna do them in. So I'm just letting you guys decide what you want to go to next. We're gonna do all of them. But I don't know if there's something else out there. Toy Corporation. That's funny. Yeah, people are saying other. If it's other, let me know. Jesse Lee Peterson collab with Myron Gaines. Let me write some of these down. We almost reacted to that yesterday and we didn't. Forgot about it. It's my debit card. Because that is correct. I did want to see that too. Yeah, JLP and Myron. JLP. Bruh. There's no way the pen quit working. Beta. Okay, let's put that down. I'll put that on the list. Because that was technically something we were going to. I don't know why I forgot. Or why I didn't. JLP, Myron. Okay, that'll be the next one. Oh, others winning now. Others winning now. Okay. Okay. I'm going to honor the poll. I'm going to let it go. So it says 5:14 p.m. till 5:14. I don't know if that's like 60 seconds, 30 seconds, somewhere in there. We got less than a minute. We'll see. Yes, wives should obey. Duh. I think Other's going to win. I think JLP and Myron's going to win. Okay, 5:14 it is. Okay, Other has won. Dang. Looking like people really don't want to see the Ian Carroll thing. I should have that one bookmarked, I do believe, and I can just search it, right? We got to find the longer one. There's like a 4-minute one. Earn gains. Yeah, it was this one from Charging. This is the one I saw that was going viral. Somebody saying Ashley St. Clair and the e-girl slop with Nick. She did like a more podcasts with people. We can look at Ashley St. Clair. I know that she did a recent one with dude. She did one the other day that was so effing cringe, bro. Like so cringe. So St. Clair's done a little bit of a tour. She was with Hassan. She did like I can't remember all the different names of podcasts she's done since then. But who was it with? She did one with somebody, and I'm not even joking you. The clip that I saw, we can do that. I'll put that one on the list too. She's talking about how I had to, all these MAGA people were telling me, no, don't read this black literature. Don't listen to these black authors. And I didn't know all the black struggle until I was reading. And it's like, dude, this woman is shameless, dog. Absolutely shameless. She is a huge effing grifter. I can't stand that woman. What could that hag possibly say that warrants an interview? Well, she's got a few claims. The one claim is that MAGA is all this controlled influencer BS. The second is that Elon Musk interfered with the election in 2024. And there's something else that she was pushing lately too that was just aggressive. But like those two seem like the big ones. She's probably correct on the MAGA glazer. I mean, we know Benny Johnson and Cat Turd and all these others operate in lockstep. But okay, we're going to this one. Jesse Lee Peterson and Myron Gaines discuss Jews in America. Or no, discuss Trump receiving money from Jews. Let's take a listen.
What is wrong with Trump and the Republican Party receiving money from the Jews?
Well, the reason why it's a problem is because a lot of these Jews are Israel first. So, I'll give you an example. Like Thomas Massey, he just lost his seat. And
out of Kentucky?
Out of Kentucky.
Right.
I think that was, the 4th Congressional District.
Right.
They spent over $30 million to get him out of there. Right. Now, and I looked it up, there's less than 1% Jewish population in that area. But since he's been such kind of a thorn on their side, exposing AIPAC, going famously on Tucker's show, talking about AIPAC handler this, AIPAC handler that. Now, a lot of us that follow politics kind of know this, but this has kind of been an ugly secret that they've been trying to avoid telling people about because they don't want people to know that the United States foreign policy and the United States government in general is heavily influenced by the Israel lobby. But the issue that I have with this is you have American Jews, a lot of them tend to have dual citizenship, and what ends up happening is these people are Israel first, they're not America first. And an example I'll give of this is you look at someone like Bill Ackman, right? Lifelong Democrat, Alan Dershowitz, lifelong Democrat. Now that the Democrat Party is, having a lot more anti-Israel rhetoric, they're voting Republican. They're voting, they're abandoning their normal domestic policy
but I still don't understand,
in favor of another one.
I still don't understand.
Yeah, Doge, what could have been.
Why do some Republican voters get mad with money that comes from Israel and because when you're running a campaign,
sure, it's expensive.
You need money to run a campaign.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
On both sides. The Democrats get money from the Jews too. I never hear Republicans complaining about that.
So
and why is that?
I make the joke. I say all the time that both parties get money from the Jewish lobby, especially at the federal level. It's going to be very hard to get into the federal level of politics if you don't support Israel.
Yeah.
But the Democrats, right? They take the money and they pretend they don't. The Republicans openly take it and they're proud of our relationship with Israel. But the reason why it's such a problem is because these people that are donating the money, they're not donating it to improve the lives of Americans. They're donating it like me and you. They're donating it for a vested interest in ensuring that that politician aligns with pro-Israel policies.
Right. But that's the same. It's
Yeah, Jews just blindly donate money.
they donate to
No strings
for
attached.
that reason too.
Do whatever you want with it.
Give a lot of money like that. It's always for something back. You want
Of course,
something.
with
Yes.
strings
That
attached,
never happens.
and that's the problem.
But he's funny.
That's precisely the problem because someone like Amara Madelson isn't going to give Trump $100 million, right, and not expect something in return.
Right.
So and that puts us in a very precarious situation because now our foreign policy is going to be based on, what donors want that might not necessarily be representative of the American public.
But shouldn't, if the Americans are going to be mad about that, shouldn't they be mad on both sides? I mean, be mad at the Democrats for doing it as well.
Yeah, I'm very critical of both sides. I would say that the Democrats are a little bit further ahead in understanding the problems with the Israel lobby in America, but they're not.
What's funny is there's been a couple like that. The Quartering did one recently about one of the ads that he got as well too. There's been a couple people like that, and it's like it's all personalized. Especially if you're on your own personal account, it's like it's all personalized.
They're not innocent either, at all. Both parties absolutely support Israel, and I think that is in of itself a problem because it's one of the things that's one of the bipartisan things that like if there's a bill that's like to benefit Israel, like 90% both sides are like, yeah, let's get this through. Who cares? They'll argue about everything else, healthcare and all the other things that we battle all the time. But when it comes to Israel policies, both the left and the right absolutely agree and say, yeah, we need to support Israel unequivocally. It's only after October 7th and the genocide and everything we saw happen in Gaza that people really started to, kind of be like, oh, well, I don't know if we can continue to support Israel. Because this has been a topic that's been heavily censored for decades. If you talked about this topic on, YouTube or the main platforms before October 7th, it was one of the fastest ways to get banned.
And remember, we covered this about a week or 2 weeks ago. One of the, Democrat strategists that they brought on, I can't remember what his name is, and I think he was a part of that, where Scott Jennings comes from, that specific segment with on CNN with that black chick. She's the host of it. I can't remember any of their name. But the strategist was posing, overall strategy for the Democrats. And what he was saying was that Democrats need to liken themselves closer to who? Fetterman. And John Fetterman, I think that's his name, but Fetterman is, big stroke having weirdo. But what's the big difference between him and the other DSA types or the progressive types? Well, Fetterman is like unashamedly pro-Israel, right? This guy like is waving the flag everywhere. He's like, he is very categorically different from the other class of Democrat. Not all of them, but a lot of the progressives, the ones that we kind of know on a bit more of a name basis. Definitely not the squad. And so it's curious though that you have this call before we're getting ready to go into 2028, that the Democrat strategists are asking the Democrats to be more like Fetterman, which is really only the big difference there is to be more pro-Israel. Like there are some elements that like separates him as well too, that he's like the Democrats, but that's like the big one. It's like being more pro-Israel, being much more unashamedly pro-Israel, pro-geopolitical, which is a crazy thing because again, here you have this as well, like this, the similarities there between those two parties, right? Republicans and the Democrats. And I don't really understand the, I guess the gist of that complaint there, which is, I mean, if I'm a Republican or whatever, I'm also probably not paying attention to what the left is doing in terms of like where their money's coming from. Like I'll pay attention to it, obviously. I'm going to call it out as well too. But I think people in general, like the Harrison Smith types, the Owen Schroyer types, the rest of them, Clint Russell included, like they're looking at these people and also like, it's just as bad as when the Democrats do it. I'm just less personally invested into it because like, that's not my party. I think that's just kind of commonsensical. Of course, they're going to be much more up in arms when our side does it, when our guys do it. But when the other team does it, it's like, yeah, that's shitty. But I care less about it. It's like they're over there. I'm not attached to them. Speaking generally for like Republicans, conservatives. But that was a good one. So we have we'll probably cap it at St. Clair, Pearl Davis, and then the Ian Carroll one, and then that way I can take a bit of a break. I'll come back. But we're going to go to, let's just do the actually St. Clair one, just because I can think of that right off the top of my head. Let's even see what the top result is up here with this. Yeah, so here's this one. This is the one about rigging the election. This is the one. It was this podcast that she talked about the black literature. Okay, let's just rip through a couple of these. Which I'm curious where this actually goes. This claim of that Elon rigged the election, or I think more specifically when I read into it, I guess the claim was from her was something to the effect that Elon Musk basically walked out of Mar-a-Lago before they were, the people who were monitoring the election results at Mar-a-Lago, their Situation Room. She basically made the claim that Elon somehow had up-to-date real-time data of the election results, and he knew that Trump was going to win well before it had been announced or confirmed, or even the people there on the Situation Room had known. Which is kind of a bit of a crazy claim here, but I guess we'll see where it goes.
And then October rolls around. And in October, Elon tells me
I can't do that on regular speed, bro.
He is ready to release his, in his words, anomaly in the Matrix. And I am like, oh, like, who's that? And he says that he has 10,000 lasers in space, referring to his satellites. I say, because I am, like, rather uncomfortable, and I know the gravity of what he's trying to tell me right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. 1.5 times. We're doing makeup and all this too. Like, just speak plainly, woman.
I say, wow, finally a focus on the Jewish vote. He keeps going, and he says, you know, this is not something...
It gets more annoying the faster the voice is, though. The faster the speed is.
I straight up tell him. I say, I would ask more, but I really don't want to be deposed. To which he says, very wise. Shortly after that, you know, he's involved with America PAC and all of this other stuff, and he's sending me some internal data from America PAC, real-time Delta vote metrics. And I am just like, how the fuck do you have this sort of data? You don't get this from door knocking, because that was one of my first jobs in politics was in campaigns and cleaning up this bad data from door knocking, because the vendors that America PAC is using at this point is
so much makeup,
Craigslist crackheads for door knocking, and I wish I was exaggerating there, but I'm not. I know, like, I have caused harm with my rhetoric.
Said 3 times.
I never, like, sought out to cause harm. Like, there were parts of me that really wanted, like, the best for the country, for America, for democracy. And one thing is I have always, always hated big tech. So then to have arguably the most powerful man in the world, who is sending me things about, you know, using his space technology in the election. I should also say that I have all of this backed up with many people with explicit instructions, should anything happen to me, okay? But this was something that I was internally wrestling with, while publicly not really showing that I was having any of these internal ethical conflicts with myself regarding this information. And then on election night itself, Elon, you know, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago.
She had to stop recording and then re-record another one. But
he's like, yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team is the best.
Trust me, dude, I'm dying on the inside.
Data on elections.
But this is Ashley St. Clair.
I could not understand that. I don't know that I ever will.
Famous for being the baby mother of Elon Musk. She's not known for anything else, actually.
I saw some shit, and I'm fighting really hard to keep my voice, because I saw shit that impacts everyone. And if I was self-interested, I have been offered the self-interested deal to shut up and not talk about anything. But what I can tell you is I've not been offered certain deals just because.
Ashley St. Clair?
Weird, okay.
Self-interested? No.
I saw some shit.
No. Who could possibly be saying this? But again, like, very little said at all. But she said it kind of towards the beginning, and it's what I prefaced the video with. Was that when she was with Elon Musk, she was noticing that he had this real-time data that she said, and in her own opinion, made no sense that he would have. There's a better one somewhere, I would imagine, but definitely not that one. And yeah, this anomaly in the Matrix. I swear this is the one that I saw of her talking. Or is it this one? Probably the same one. So we'll take a listen to this one. This is the one I'm positive it's in this one that she was like, she talks about how she was like prevented from like the racism or something to that effect. Like it was she couldn't read black literature, or they were all preventing her from doing so. I'm assuming this is the same interview with this chick, just a different angle, different time point in it. Here's this.
And they say so much like, oh, it's not a victimhood mentality. It's not this, it's not that. But they live in the biggest victimhood mentality, that they think the biggest issue is trans people, that they think it's going to take away from them so much if you recognize Black literature. Reading my first slave narrative at 25, I was like, no wonder they don't want me reading this, because this is horrific. Yeah. And so like and then consuming Black literature, like reading Robinson, reading Du Bois, reading these things that I wasn't allowed to read because I was told it was anti-white propaganda. And just read what you're not supposed to. Read what they're telling you.
How racist is the movement?
It's pretty racist.
That's what I mean. I think it's just, would you say that's at the epicenter of it? And then also owning the libs?
Becoming more and more at the epicenter of it. It wasn't so much before, but people like Stephen Miller have really like, I have texts from Stephen Miller where he's like, we need white boy November. Oh yeah.
You have texts from Stephen Miller?
He used to text me every day during the election. He's like, share this. Every time I've seen him, he's sitting down at the board with a drink. So don't know.
But what would he text you? We need what?
He would ask for retweets during the election. Like,
would you say white boy?
White boy November. He's like, we need the white boys. This is going to be white boy November. Like, he's just a loser. And so like, he's begging me for retweets. He's like, we need to get
Wait, hold on. So that guy is reaching out to you to reach.
Oh, yeah.
They're all so insecure.
They're losers.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, I knew that. I knew all of this.
That's why I don't care. I'm like, who am I?
And how badly?
That's kind of crazy. Like this isn't in no way in the shape or form like a defense of Stephen Miller. Nor do I think you should like asking for retweets among influencers. Although definitely like, Groyper group chats or juicing posts all the time. I don't think that's anything. But like White Boy November, it's just like, and she's having like a conniption over it. It's like that's what losers is. I mean, yeah. I mean, like this woman. I mean, like they're both the same way. They're both these. I mean, truly, down to the bones, they are liberal women. Like they hate white men. They hate anything that's pro-white. How in any way, shape, or form is White Boy November racist? I get that, like the way they feel about it, being loserish or whatever. But still, like, what? And it's like they think this. I don't know, man. You just see stuff like this, and it's like maybe it all just should burn. Every element of it. Maybe everything should burn. Maybe we should accelerate everything to crash into and burn down. But like, a guy's a loser for White Boy Summer, but she'll sit here and get on her hands and knees for Black History Month. Like it's such a big joke, dude. And we're all, I think, for lack of better words, we're all sick and fucking tired of it. It's just like it's getting a little old. This nonstop sucking off of Black stuff all over the place, lying and omitting about the way that they behave and act, everyone else having to deal with it, white men having to always pick up the pieces, having to sweep everyone else's nonsense and idiocy. Yeah, I think it's, I mean, this is the stuff that ushers in like even more anger and radicalization is bullshit like this. And she talked about how everything's like in her own self-interest. She doesn't do things in her own self-interest. Like that's what she is, or her entire persona is self-interest. I mean, just like it's still, I'm just very tired of it. I'm very tired of seeing another Jewish woman coming up on TV and sitting here and screaming about how it's like the most racist thing of all time that white guys even halfway try to stand up for themselves. It's like, yeah. How about you go in the camp, Ashley? How about you go in the camp forever?
Do they want to own the libs? Would you say that is the driving force, like the ethos that like bonds them together, owning the libs?
No, I think they're just hateful racists. Like, I think that what bonds them together is hate and that they weren't cool in high school. Like they're really, these people are so deeply insecure.
Have you met Trump?
A few times. I was very much
stink?
I didn't get close enough to smell.
What did the makeup look like in person?
Very bad. The spray tan, I think it's a spray tan issue, but like you kind of have to get a spray tan to go to Mar-a-Lago. Like as soon as I started getting in the Mar-a-Lago crowds, they're like, oh, here's Laura Trump's spray tan girl. Like get the Zimmerman dress, get this. Like I was being put into this costume of MAGA. And I think I look much better without a spray tan. But they all do the spray tans. Like they wear a costume.
And do people think he's smart? Like where it was like, oh my God, Trump's incredible. I mean,
they view him more as like this caricature. They're like, oh, he's so awesome. Oh
they
my
think
God.
He's like a badass.
Can you believe he was at the McDonald's drive-thru? Like they're just so dumb.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't think they actually think, if you ask any of them, that Donald Trump is sitting there writing policy. Like they know he's not.
Are they true? So in the influencer class, because there are true believers, I've been around them in Oklahoma in the Bible Belt that believe this man is smart, that believe he's this incredible businessman, that believe all this, like that he's healthy, that he's a great.
I mean, ultimately though, like on some of these things, like she is correct. If we're talking specifically about the people who are like high up in the Trump administration, the actual individuals who are facilitating it, because obviously look what MAGA has become. It's obviously become a bit of a joke. But this is all in an attempt to self-aggrandize. She's trying to reappeal or repaint her self-image back into the space of being a bit more centrist or a bit more left-wing. Obviously, she's trying to get back in the good graces. Of course, it's in her self-interest. Her career is destroyed. She's basically been excised from conservative politics. The only option left is to appeal to another group and hope that she can walk her way back in. And of course, this is exactly what this podcast is about.
Athlete. There are people that believe.
Yeah, the base does, but
within the
MAGA, no.
influencer class, they would jump off that.
They're like, can you believe he DJs Mar-a-Lago? Like this.
What about
like
JD Vance? Do they like JD Vance?
It's kind of split on JD. Like some people just think he's weird, which he is, and then other people are like, oh wow, he could be the next 2028.
I think
don't trust anyone who takes money from big tech.
Well, yeah, I think JD Vance is the country's top prostitute.
He's got to bend over for Peter
Thiel. Yeah, I mean, it's just if you look at JD Vance,
Peter Thiel makes his boys work.
He does. I mean, he went out to Silicon Valley and he comes back thinner, dressed better haircut. I'm like, Peter Thiel queer-eyed JD Vance. He queer-eyed him. I've never seen anything like it. It's like he got queer-eyed. Remember how he was chubby and kind of sloppy, and then he comes back from Peter Thiel's day boot camp and he got queer-eyed.
He did.
I mean, this is just disgusting, and this is part of the reason why women shouldn't even be allowed to hold any kind of position, especially in politics, or any kind of meaningful position at all. It's all self. I mean, like I'm more so just like my cortisol is just being spiked by the way that these women are behaving and talking, what they're appealing to, and this is what we dude, this can't be allowed to have power. It's just like cannot. We can't allow this to have power. They're not allowed.
And they say
and I think what's more sad is just thinking about how many people hear this and like they agree with it. And it's like this is what they believe in. Yeah, all of MAGA, like the racism. It's like that's why you just like we can't. Like we just can't. The altar has to be destroyed. The altar of race in this country has to be destroyed. It needs utterly destroyed. It needs pulled from its roots. It needs held in front of the crowd of millions of people, and it needs to be burned while everyone's eyes are forced open. Like the altar of race must be destroyed. And especially not even being like, it's the altar of every race but white. And I don't know, is the expectation that you're going to keep doing this and then what white people are just all going to continually sitting here and taking it? I find that to be just so irrespective of like everything, anything political, any kind of group that's been oppressed or experiences any kind of like widespread oppression or anything like that. But like, no, I mean, like, I'm going to go back to what I've been saying, about a couple months ago, which is like, we are not going back in the fucking box. This is not, it doesn't end here. We're not stopping at this point. I don't give a shit if every white woman in this country stood up and said they hated how racist it was. Okay, next. I guess we are going to start race mixing because if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. This whole idea that we're going to keep sitting here and taking it while everybody else lies and omits the truth and wants to exist in some reality that's just simply a delusion. I mean, Ashley St. Clair and that other woman, they're no better than a transgender, right? But living in some world where blacks are like, we all behave in the same, they see egalitarian society, there's no actual real distinction, race isn't real. You're no different than a transgender. I mean, that's what the world that a transgender lives in. They decide and they set the boundaries of their own existence and reality. And then anyone else who tells them different, despite how objectively true certain facts are, they omit it and they ignore it and they walk away and they pretend it doesn't exist. It's the same shit here. Okay, so be it. But if the expectation is that we're going to continually rape psychologically, this is verbatim. No other way to say it. If we're going to, if not even we, if the concept is that the continual raping of the psychology of the average young white man in this country continues, it's just simply not going to. You're going to get a consequence to that. It's simple as.
Arian_0 just followed on Kick.
Appreciate you following on Kick. That's awesome. Thank you for that. It's probably pretty loud too. I can probably turn it down a little bit. I apologize. It's still a little loud, it seems. But that shit's just disgusting. And I'm glad Ashley St. Clair is feeling comfortable being this villain. She's kind of nuzzling down into like who she really actually is. And I also think around in general too, like how does she even have a following? Like what type of person listens to Ashley St. Clair and goes like, yeah, actually that's what I believe. This is my belief set. This is what I like. This is how I feel about things. It's just such a joke. It's Mormon housewives, low tier, low hanging fruit. I can't even be bothered with it. I literally cannot even be bothered with it in the slightest. It's and I hate even saying that too, but it's like I'm sorry, like it's just the conversation is so. It feels like the conversation's like. I hate even saying this, but it just feels like the conversation's underneath me. Not to say like I wouldn't have the conversation, but it's like I thought we moved past all of this. Why are we trying to bring back like peak woke era nonsense? Like I don't understand how this hasn't burned and died yet. And remember when everybody was saying woke is dead? Well, what the hell did we just watch? Was this not recorded in 2026? Does this not have like 18,000 likes? Like people clearly are rooting for it. Much more. We have much more to accomplish. Work has not been finished yet. Not until Ashley St. Clair feels so ashamed she could not ever put a camera on her face again. We have not done our job yet. Yeah, white woman. At least white appearing woman. Yeah, to the average person, that Ashley St. Clair is going to be received as a white woman speaking on these racial issues. I can't do any more Ashley St. Clair. I did it. We did about 8 minutes of Ashley St. Clair. Pat myself on the back. That's it. No more. No mas. Por favor, good sir. No mas. And we got 2 more left. We have Ian Carroll or Pearl Davis. We'll go. Let's not do back-to-back women. We'll go Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll. Okay, right here. I'm done with journalism. We'll watch this one fast too.
A lot about.
Let's see. What do we have? Oh, theater mode. Theater mode. We're getting fancy, dude. Okay, it's at 1.25. That's fine.
Owen Benjamin's episode on Tucker Carlson.
Despair is the sin. Despair is, that's why like there's people I'll go at. I'm like, if you spread despair, you're basically
Pizza Hut cooking.
That is such a
pizza sounds good, man.
I've done a lot of despair spreading, and I regret it.
Oh, me too. Yeah, but see, telling the truth can come off as despair, but it's still good.
Yeah, but I think it can be too much. I mean, it bums me out. So we're commanded not to despair.
Exactly,
not to fear.
exactly. That's when like that principle, like those fundamentals kick in. Where there's been times where I'm like, but I know like despair is a sin. Like that's like spitting in the.
Yeah, she has no redeemable characteristics. Her redeemable characteristics is the same as Faith Merrill, is the same as Deborah Leah, is the same as Emily Austin. It's just a pretty face saying what people want to hear. She is just basically all these girls, all these e-girls all these serve as is attractive confirmation bias. That is it. That's all. The only woman that seriously offers anything at all, period, of anything, of any substance, honestly, is like, well, there's like 3. You could say a little bit from Candace Owens. You could say a little bit from Pearl Davis, from just what she's done in general, which I think she's really kind of gotten stale over the years. And Whitney Webb. And I don't even think Whitney Webb is all there in the head, and it was too. But it's like, that's it. What other female is even worth listening to? Kim Iverson's okay, Lauren Chen's okay, but ultimately it's like,
the face of a gift, right?
Yes.
Conspiracy theories are entering.
Yeah, we're putting the pieces together. That Owen Benjamin is literally insane. I would say schizophrenic. You're asking me
to collapse the current paradigm.
It burns me out too. Trust me. I mean, Ian's got good production quality.
I think
I would
it's
say.
one of the best podcasts that's
Anna Kasparian's okay.
I think
she's bad on some stuff.
An interesting and wise and inspired conversation that also like moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Owen thinks in so many funny, like sort of metaphorical jumps that you kind of have to catch up to the neural architecture that he's built to understand the world as you're listening to him in order to keep up with his rapid sort of theological or philosophical or just intellectual kind of bounces around topics. Owen's an interesting character on the internet, in my opinion, because I had no idea who he was at all. Didn't know about his career, didn't know about his comedy, didn't know about his online stuff, didn't know about him getting censored off the internet? Nada. But I didn't know who he was or like what his background was, and I hadn't seen a lot of his content, except to know that he was,
It's
a
really not
kind of conspiracy theorist.
that worth it.
Some good take, but I hadn't really heard much. But in hearing this Tucker interview, it's so interesting what his perspective is on all this. The piece that I keep on circling on that I think is really inspirational, that I'm sort of taking to heart as like a mantra, holding with me all the time, is this shifting away from the doomerism.
Yeah, people who like Owen Benjamin, I've seen a couple in there.
Looking at all these conspiracies and looking at how fucked up the world is, just looking for optimism and good stories. I mean, every dark story has a light side, and every fucked up thing that's going on has silver linings and good truth to be found, good stories to be told, and a lot.
Yeah, I've seen contradicting things on his gay dad. I've seen like going like back and forth on what really is the story there, and so it seems to be that like his dad had an affair with like another man and like left him or something like that. Like that seems to be the general claim I hear all the time.
A lot of it is just your perspective. And he has a lot of points about how certainly you can blame various groups and peoples and specific individuals for, most of the horrible shit that's going on in this world. And that's cool, worth doing. In every instance of something going wrong, you can also turn the lens inward at yourself individually and at your group and a culture and your country, and like everything bad that's happening to the US, we are letting happen to ourselves. Everything bad that we wish was better about our culture is in part carried by ourselves being a part of our culture. And certainly we do need information outwards about who's doing what and what's wrong in this world. But we also, I think we need a lot more introspection inwards too, into how can we be better and how can we like basically bypass the negative and just move towards the positive direction. Just huge shout out to Owen. I thought it was one of the
Owen inspired me to give up journalism. Is that what he is saying right now?
I almost never listen to podcasts anymore because it's just really easy for them to become repetitive, even when I love the people on them and I like the topics they're talking about. And I wasn't expecting to watch more than...
He is just yapping here.
I've now watched it through twice, and I think it's really cool. Huge shout out to Owen and Tucker for an awesome conversation. If you haven't listened to it, go.
I wouldn't doubt it if Vanna did.
Everyone's cup of tea, because Owen sort of like thinks, speaks, and sort of logically leaps in a very much sort of fast-paced and fluid flow state kind of way. But I love that shit. That's exactly how my brain works. So anyways, just a little preamble. No,
hey, thank you for the gifted, man. Appreciate it.
My job that has me constantly looking at all the evil in the world and just talking about that, because it's important. I'm relatively good at it, at connecting dots and following the money and going.
I'm gonna flip it over here. I don't have the gifted set up on the watch screen. W gifted. Thank you, Hilton Groiper, for the 5 gifted memberships. We got Kevin 11 got 1. Became Numa got 1. Mike Clinton Body Count got 1. Scheisser Theory got 1. And Holden Gamble got 1. W Hilton. W Hilton. W's in the chat for Hilton. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man.
Wherever the truth leads and not being afraid to just tell it like I see it. It seems to have worked out pretty well for my career so far. But it also is a trap that traps you in the cycle of constantly fixating on everything that's wrong and everything that's going bad. And the more you know, the more horrible humanity can really start to seem. You can really get very down about the human condition when you look at the big picture around the globe, with a particular focus on the most evil nexus points of power, money, influence.
5 minutes in, have no idea why he's retiring. Is it like because it's too dark, it's too nasty? I thought politics was gonna be sunshine and rainbows. You fucking idiot. Like, what? And here's the thing, dude. Ian follows me on X. I don't know if Ian will ever see this. Like, if you want to have a conversation, I would love to have like a full, robust, comprehensive conversation about where you are with Nick and where we've been. I know we've talked, and I know we've kind of talked. We've messaged back. We've kind of, through YouTube chat, we've had conversations. If Ian Carroll would like to have an open conversation about his overall feelings on Nick and what his connections are with Candace, and we can be honest and candid about what those connections are, whose hand is feeding who, whose mouth is, all of those things, I would love to. I do have respect for Ian Carroll. I think ultimately he's been aligned against. I would always take Nick over Ian Carroll wholeheartedly. That's not even a question. But I would have a conversation with Ian Carroll. We wanted to go deeper on why he's taking all these stances here.
And everything else. It's not good for you. And it's definitely not good for me. And I'm sick of it. Plus, it's just like, how many times can we talk about the same abuses, the same genocide, the same lies over and over and over and over and over? And I'm not saying that I'm going to stop talking about it. What I'm saying is that there's other angles that I think are important
Oh,
that I'm thinking
1,000% better with Ian than RD.
in terms of like my emotional and mental state of what am I focusing my whole life on. I need to focus more on positive sides of these stories. Same stories, just look at them from other angles. If I'm feeling that way, then to me that says that I bet a lot of you are feeling that way too. I bet that a lot of us are feeling pretty overwhelmed by how horrible the world seems when you're trying to be tuned in, because it's important to be tuned in. It's a good thing to be tuned
We're going to war for Israel. And here's the positive spin. Dude, what?
into what's going on in this world. That's how we wake up, and that is how we free ourselves from, let's just say, the cabal of people, of powerful, that are controlling our government, buying out our elections, killing.
No, man. Hey, actually, like, it does suck.
Telling us to shut up about it. It's important
Not to say like to have a victim complex.
and paying attention. But oh boy, is that draining. I've been thinking a lot about that feeling of how do you refocus to still become informed and be aware and ask those questions, learn the truth, but doing it in a way that twists the lens, that recolors the situation and holds a positive perspective. Because ultimately, you can see it half full, you can see it half empty. History is a long journey through a lot of evil shit. And all across the crazy story of history, all the evil dictatorships, all the terrible genocides, all.
This is a little alarming because when we were watching Owen Benjamin and Sneeko, what was the subtweet and the diss on Nick? That he's a despair merchant with his little general despair merchants. And he's going off the back of the other recent Owen Benjamin Tucker Carlson interview, still saying this here. So it's like, is there an alignment here? Like, is Ian, like, how friendly are we with Owen Benjamin? Are we having conversations off air? And but it does seem to be like it's on that lens, which is, you know, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be a despair merchant. Is that going to be the new attack angle against Nick? Is that Nick just has a victim complex, or he's just pushing, he's a doomer? Is that going to be the new spin here? Because I mean, I get what he's saying ultimately. Like, I'm not going to act like a play retarded, but I understand, like, it just seems to be aligned with where Owen was at. But at the same time, you just need to be objective. If you're going to do journalism, the goal is to be objective. It's not to spin it positively or make people feel better when you're spoon feeding them information. It's to be like, these are the facts, and take from them what you will. It's not to inject your own opinion in them. That's what you would call an op-ed. Now you could spin it afterwards.
Of the really horrible, fucked up shit that humans have done to each other over thousands of years that we know of across all of
I agree, Mr. Moss.
Stories of wonderful humans.
It's kind of where I'm at with him.
Stories of love. There was stories of overcoming. There was stories of the underdog. There was stories of good rising up and fighting back. There's always both sides. It's push-pull. It's humanity. It's the light and the dark. It's just the way it is. We're not going to defeat evil in our lifetimes or in any future lifetime, but we're also not going to succumb to it either. It just depends how you want to look at it. And, you know, in any given time, there's different amounts of good and evil, and there are very real forces in this world that very much deserve to be inspected, called out, made plain for everybody, and fought against with everything we got. But we don't need to dwell on it, and we don't need to assign these people more power than they have. And I think when you really look out at the world today, I think that what we're learning is that these people actually have a lot less power than they think.
Hey, rain can be a good thing.
Focused on the wrong time horizon, because we all live in this digital age now. I
like listening to the rain.
Kind of more like 10 for the
Great precursor on Ian. Do you see that?
Sort of the intensity of the.
Which one of you put that one in there?
So much, and it's going to keep going. But there's this enduring question about social media and technology and all this communication that we now have that we've all asked a million times. Is it worse now, or can we just see what's going on, right? Like, is there more evil in the world now because of technology and because of this acceleration? Or are we just all more aware of it because we all have it in our phones, and outrage and fear are the best at selling things? They're the best at getting views and your attention. Probably a bit of both, probably both true. But the point that I keep coming back to is, regardless of how much evil there is in the world in any given year, regardless of whether things are getting better or worse, things are definitely getting more technologically enabled. As in, everyone is getting more technologically enabled. The evil rich folks, very much more technologically enabled. But all of us are way more technologically enabled as well. That leads to very bad things and very good things, from a very technical, like sophisticated businesses, Palantirs, digital mass surveillance, like on that kind of scope of things, all the way down.
The only real thing we've even said in the last 4 minutes since I paused it last time was that is a debate to have, which is to say, you know, could you say volume wise, is there more evil? Like, is there actually more evil occurring now as compared to 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago? Or, like in his words, what he said is, or is it just because of the phones and video captures and social media and connectivity and the internet that people are just simply more aware of what's going on? I would probably agree that it's probably a bit of both. I do think I think from a perspective, an American's perspective, as things have clearly and objectively have been getting worse. Would you prescribe all of that to be evil? I think you could for a large amount of it. But also, I think he's more so describing like the analog to digital shift, which is that it did do it. It did. There was a strong effect that it had on people. I think you can see that in the psychology of the younger generations of being inundated daily, like on a daily basis, of seeing all the behaviors of the world around them. Whether it is the bad shit of politics, which is just, all these ridiculous videos of, black people or Nissan Altimas on curbs or other kind of violence or Middle Eastern violence or crime in general. But you also have that same group of people is also being inundated with Ariana Grande and the LGBTQ, and it's never been more free for gay people. And so there's certain groups that are obviously benefiting from what's going on. So I guess it would depend on who you're asking, right?
To the deeply soul level, where do you find meaning? And are you dopamine addicted? And are you is this taking your job? Your personal life being affected by these technologies too. But I think we can all agree that if you choose to wield it, you as the average citizen anywhere in the world has the potential to make a way bigger impact than ever before. Not everyone is going to take the steps to make that impact. Not everyone is going to do anything with it. I mean, I am a perfect example of someone that has made a very strangely outsized impact for where I came from by using technology to just try. And we're starting to see a lot of political campaigns springing up out of this digital space, out of this sort of decentralized space, if you will, of sort of more regular type folks. Not necessarily always 100% regular, but more regular type folks. Not so hand-selected establishment picks that are paraded around like little paper puppets, but instead just regular Americans that are like, hey, I have a big social media following, or I'm up to try, or I run a successful business, or I'm going to get in the race. And we are now.
And I will say too, Ian has contributed though. Ian has definitely contributed. I think the Buyer app that's a great thing. I mean, it literally is an app that gives you a heat map when you point the camera at the store, and I don't know if you have to pay for it or whatnot. But at the bare minimum, it's he at least put his money where his mouth is. He developed an app. I don't know if it was his money, but he at least got the work done on it. And now you do have an app that can basically tell you which company will benefit from you purchasing this individual product, or if it's even a good product, or if it's all processed, or it's made of a bunch of nonsense or insanity, things like that. So I think that there is positive in there. He has put his money where his mouth is. But maybe that's probably where he should stay, is where he kind of came from, right? Following the money on the more smaller, I guess maybe the smaller scale corruption happening inside of the, inside of big business, inside of, farm to store kind of concepts with food, when he covered the shrimp story with Candace Owens, all that other stuff.
Now seeing all of these sort of grassroots riser-uppers. We're seeing the rise of citizen journalism, right? We're seeing regular people just popping up out of nowhere, starting YouTube channels, contributing on Twitter, getting involved in X Spaces, contributing information, scrutinizing, exposing. It certainly comes with a lot of noise. It is clearly a trend towards increasing potential to make a difference. Tell me if you disagree, but the way I feel about it, we're looking at the wrong time horizon when you feel like everything's getting worse. Lots of things are getting worse, but every time I try to logic out how this technological revolution goes, it either goes entirely towards technological military control state, where you are in a literal gulag. They control everything.
Simple question.
And you break the law, the drones come, they put you in the box, they steal.
Would I want him next to me on the front line? I think I'm neutral on that, I guess. I mean, would I want him? I think there's many people I would want before I would say, Ian Carroll. But I guess if I saw Ian Carroll, I wouldn't also be dismayed either. It's at least this guy has some of it, at least we're halfway there on certain things. But no, I mean, to get to the answer, there's many, many, many other people I would much rather have on the front lines or at my side, before I'd pick Ian Carroll. And I think that goes closer to the alignment, right? And I guess the front lines in terms of what we're doing here. I mean, we kind of already established that, right? Ian Carroll's not a part of, our version of America First, or what I would say the true version of America First. He's clearly already stepped away from that, and he's said his piece. And I think what we're seeing is a reaction from Owen and Ian and Tucker and all the others are those people who aren't, who have decided that they are not going to join us at the front lines, if you will. And I think that's the question too. I think he doesn't want to be there. I think probably on the deep down, his more liberal priors would tell him he can't go all the way with some of the race realism. I think he's kind of got a bit more of that liberal hippy dippy in him, if you will. Yeah, and I agree. That's kind of me. I really only want Groyper still left and the right. Because otherwise it's just a liability. If I can't fully trust you, then it's just a liability, like point blank. 100% trust or nothing. There's nothing in between there.
Your money, they torture you in secret, whatever it is. It like either goes all the way to the digital gulags or they will set themselves free. It just doesn't seem like it when you look at a 3-month time horizon or even a 1-year time horizon. This is just my opinion. But suppose there's a million civilizations out there in the universe somewhere at some time, all of them different. But suppose that all those million civilizations invent electricity at some point because it's out there, it's like possible. They're smart. They invent fire. They make food. They look different, but whatever. Imagine there's a million civilizations that invent electricity and a million different civilizations that start figuring out what you can do with electricity. Basically, any civilization, any grouping of beings that create a society where you can communicate remotely with each other, that's what this is. It's just a remote communication system. And any civilization that makes a remote communication system would have to go through all the same things we're going through. You'd have to learn how to become a part of a civilization and culture where there's a lot less privacy, but a lot more communication, a lot less clarity on.
So what, he's saying growing pains?
Centralization of contribution. All these things we're learning about the digital age, these growing pains, kind of feels like we're middle schoolers, still just getting our first telephone and figuring out how to like hang with the boys, and everything's very weird. We're all very mature. I think we're just going through that as a civilization that has just entered this technological space where no longer.
Funny that he said it right after I did. And the thing is too, is like the reason why there's such a strong connection between him and Candace Owens is understand like Candace put him on. Like, I don't know to the tune of how much money or what. And it's not like he didn't already have a source of income prior to that. But as far as I understand, is like Candace really did like basically step in and give him the platform that he has, or at least give him his kind of like his starter money, or initiating money. Also putting him on by him being the co-host of, or the host of her show in the time that she was away during her, during her pregnancy, when she had to take time. I don't know if it was, for how long it was, but it was for some period of time, at least a couple of weeks. And ever since then, ever since that moment, he has just really taken off. He's really kind of blown up since then. And so how much of that, can you contribute to Candace? And ultimately it puts him in a position of, he really can't, go at Candace, because then she'll, for one, it would, burn a bridge, but it would also then open it up for, she would say, you're nothing without me. I put you on. And so it gets super toxic, strong poison pill there.
Longer are we all individuals in our far off places doing our own things in our own little communities. We're just now all part of one globalized culture. And there's a lot of sad stuff about becoming a globalized culture. There's a lot that's lost. And there's a lot that we could be doing to mitigate that, to preserve our actual unique cultures. That's a conversation for a different day. But I can't square any logical understanding of where this goes that doesn't lead to our culture evolving and just inherently marching closer and closer towards values that align with the decentralized truth. Because no one wants to be lied to. No one wants to be taken advantage of. Everyone wants the best life for themselves and their family. And ultimately, that always comes back to truth. Either you're manipulating everybody else or you're not. And it doesn't take a genius to realize that if everyone acts like you, think through what the world would be like. And if you're a manipulator, if you're an evildoer, if you're a taker from the system and everyone else acted like you, everything would be fucked. And so I don't think it's rocket science to imagine how we all slowly walk ourselves towards a brighter and brighter future, always with new challenges, always with new evil people in this world. But you're seeing it live very slowly as lies are exposed, as stories go viral, as the flood of information comes through, as they freak out and distract and try to buy politicians off. But it's all happening because everyone's waking up. And it's not like literally everyone's waking up, right? Lots of sheep out there, lots of people still just sucking down the slop. But little by little, little by little, everyone's slowly starting to get the hang of how this all works, like how a comment section works, how a chat thread.
I don't know if it's that everybody's kind of getting it. I think some people do get it and some people don't, ultimately. I think you can kind of see that just in the fact that when you're watching how people are, you see the differences between different channels, or you see the differences between different, when someone's got a much better reply guy on X than other people. And some people are just quicker wit than others. It's just like, I don't think there's a learned element of it. Some of it is learned, don't get me wrong. Mr. Moss says that Ian is making a good point here. Unfortunately, whites are the ones who invented all of this and should be experiencing the growing pains, but we also handed tech over to cavemen. I agree with that too. That's another fair point as well. The differentiation of the technology acquisition and acquiescing of between the races. I would also add in there too that I think even inside of that is, regardless of there being growing pains, I think there's also, we just have to also agree that perhaps there is actually a a negative value here that can't be overcome. And for example, what I would say is like the sociopathic tendencies, where you can kind of almost not a one for one, but it does scale along with it. Where if you see how when the internet's kind of come into the system along with social media, that sociopathic tendencies have like basically gone through the roof. Well, and part of the reason why sociopathic tendencies have been increased is because there is now, because of social media, because of this technology, there is an added acknowledgement or an emphasized acknowledgement where everyone is also thinking and running through everything, their thoughts and their thought processes and their actions that they take through an added filter through their thought process and decision making process of how will this be perceived? How will I be perceived? How does this change how I am, perceived? And it's because of that increased, it's almost like everyone's got it walking around with a mirror on them. Where prior to this explosion of technology and advancement, there were mirrors, obviously, but it wasn't as pronounced. Like your own actions, your thoughts and decisions and what you have said and done wasn't always constantly being reflected back at you at the degree and intensity of what it is now. And now that's basically what social media is. If you ever make a mistake, you can't run from it. You can't, you do something online or say something in a video, you can never run away from it. You can run far, but you can't hide. Those things add these like exceptional pressure elements to why to boost these the sociopathic tendencies. And so I think if you were to grow out of growing pains, I think it comes with an idea that would go away. If people learned it better, I don't think that goes away. I think that it's just everything's kind of got its own negative element to it. Just certain things just have negative externalities and you can't get around them.
It works, how you can or can't trust what you see, how to vet things, how to think through things. So I'm getting more and more optimistic, not for the short term, but just big picture. Conspiracy theories are entering
It wasn't really even a strong statement of why he's even being done with journalism. I think more so maybe he's just saying that he's just going to focus less on that, maybe focus on more broader, more positive messages. That seemed to almost be like he's getting burnt out on being blackpilled. Which is fair. I mean, I'll at least take it. It seemed like he was being honest there, ultimately. And I know many people who feel this way. I know a lot of people who feel that way, being burnt out in general. I mean, we've talked about it between just us guys at the NAV, all of the NAV creators, the back and forth of like, it is rough. I mean, like when you're outlining and you're show prepping and you're detailing and you're researching and all of it is negative. All of it is like predominantly like very negative, extremely negative. It's trying to see through the strategies that are being used to basically wipe you out or cuck us or to put us in a worse position. Like, I get that, honestly. But it's just like, that comes with the game. That's part of what this is. It's like we're up against people who want us to see us dead and are killing us slowly. We're up against like, if you've ever seen Stargate, it's like the Ashen, right? The Ashen, not to explain all of it, but basically like these people appear friendly. They're nice and whatever, but it's like they're sterilizing the people that they're conquering. It's like they have patience, they'll wait. Like, so what did you expect when you're going up against people who hate you and are actually evil? And it's not going to be pretty at all. The one here from Became Numa says, I reject the premise that just because we have all of this technology today just automatically means that we have it better. This is gaslighting. Well, that's kind of like what I was saying too. It's like just because you improve in one area where you get to the next level doesn't mean that you've advanced. Everybody knows when you get to the next level, the enemies get stronger. So there's probably an element of that they're scaling here, which is to say it's a bit adaptive as well. And then I do agree with Jay Skotsky here. Said Ian has proved a viable voice to burst through a rampart. I do agree. I think that he has done good, and I would never really take that away from him. I think many people, they've been on TikTok or whatnot, like he has clearly spoken to them. He did become a figure in this element, and he did his part in pointing people's attention to Israel, to Epstein, to all of these. Ultimately, you could say he had maybe poor conclusions or didn't execute properly, but ultimately he was still a major kind of source and a directive source of people towards that. So okay, so that's the in-Carol bit. That was also a little bit less than what I was expecting too. The last thing that we're going to do before I take a break and come back is going to be Pearl Davis. Obey husband. Pearl Davis, obey Do you obey your husband? We got like a 5-minute clip here. This is the Catholic one. This is the Catholic one. Looks like the Catholic one's going viral. I didn't even see that. Okay, let's play this one. This is a shorter one. See, playback speed, we do 1.25. Not perfect.
Can I ask what the problem is? Like, you it just seems kind of like hostile that you guys are getting like the police and like standing in the way.
Well,
so I
police
just,
are always here.
well, yeah, I'm just.
We got
wondering,
police.
Like, what's the problem with the question?
No, there's no problem.
Okay, you guys are saying there's no problem, but it just seems like there's an issue with it.
Right.
So I feel like that's kind of a lie.
Sure.
So
I don't have
yeah.
any problem with you. It's
Yeah.
just
So
maybe not everybody wants to see something like that as they're leaving church after giving
Mhm.
worship to God, and it's to basically kind of protect people that maybe don't want that.
Right.
People more willing to engage with you. Obviously, we're not stopping you. From engaging with you,
Well, you kind of
just a
are
shield.
a little bit, right? But like, as adults, we pass by signs all the time. Sure. Like I live in.
I must have missed this one from John Doe.
Signs all the, like you can't, as an adult, if you're emotionally like charged by a sign, don't you think that's like kind of your
Yeah.
problem?
It's more for like the children and things like that.
We can all broadly appeal to the
And a child to have
Yeah.
between
to
them. That
what's good. Like define good for
Like,
me.
what
you
can
know?
they not see on the sign? Like as a kid, like is it there's something wrong with the word obey? Like
No, it's more so, not provocateur, but it's more so having something like this is an outlier, right?
Okay.
So something like this is out of the norm,
Uh-huh.
and so it's calling attention to something that maybe necessarily parents don't want to deal with right now if they have young kids or whatever. I'm not saying anything's wrong with.
And I'll preface this for those who might be a little bit confused with what's going on here. Pearl Davis has a sign. This is the second location she was at, not the first one. I believe it was the second. Perhaps maybe it's third or fourth, but regardless, it wasn't the first. She has a sign similar to Stephen and Crowder, and on the sign, it basically reads, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if I know it exactly, but it basically reads, should wives obey their husbands, or should wives submit to their husbands? And what's going on is these guys are basically blocking the sign, and you heard it from Pearl. Basically, they called the police on her as well, too, which is an insane reaction to a question that is a undoubtable yes, as it says in the Bible. And the fact that the Catholic Church is reacting like this, I mean, it's not just the Catholics, but it's all of these people that have been mind infested by the woke virus have this insane reaction. Because again, feminism won in the churches some time ago.
That question or anything like that, but
okay.
It's more so for the people that don't want to interact to give them a little bit of a barrier. That's all.
Do I have to go?
Well, here's the deal. We're giving you an opportunity to leave.
Okay.
And if you're not adhering to his opportunity, then we get involved with a police report.
Okay.
Their concern is parishioners are not feeling comfortable with you being close to the entrance of the sanctuary.
Mhm.
But they are giving you the option to go on the other side of that building over there or somewhere on the corner.
Okay. Would you be able to show me where I'm legally allowed to stand? Are you able to show me that? Yeah. Can I just ask him a question really quick before I do? Is that all right? You can ask him. He doesn't have to answer. Yeah. What's the problem with the sign? Like, what's wrong with the word obey?
We're just here to ask you to leave.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with what you're doing.
Stand by where you get somebody else. I can tell them that you didn't coerce me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Not you. But yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
I just can't believe it's this big of a spectacle for like, God, this is blackpilling me. I thought the Catholics would have some balls. Like,
She's throwing shots,
crazy
guys.
out of all the people.
Obviously, there's a disconnect between what you understand are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Christian women are in a marriage with a Christian husband,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a partnership.
Mhm.
So all decisions are made in a partnership manner.
Mhm.
And that's really what you need to know about Christian women.
So it's like if there's a decision, it's 50-50?
Usually you sit down and you kind of come to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
This is one. I agree with St. Jude. This is one of like I would say maybe 2 or 3 of the front lines.
Many times
And I would say this may be a most important
so
one.
difficult
Mm-hmm.
that nobody can make a decision.
Well, but I'm saying what would be wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with what?
Like, if he did make the decisions, what's wrong with that?
Well, sometimes when there's no decision to be made, either he or she will make it, whoever felt stronger about it.
Okay. So question, do you think it's okay for women to tell their husbands what to do?
No.
So you don't think it's okay?
Men don't tell women what to do either.
So you don't think it's okay for either party to tell them what to do?
So no one tells anybody what to do, and no decision gets made. We'll just passive aggressively sit and stare at each other at the dinner table till one of us does what they want to do, and then we ultimately can get angry at each other. It's such a joke, man.
Okay. But I guess because my question
Would you
is,
want someone to tell you what to do?
yeah.
What'd you know?
People tell me what to do all the time.
That's a boss. That's a little
I mean,
bit. That's a little bit of a,
I mean, like, you know, the church just told me what to do. They told me to get off.
Well,
so yeah, you can't really.
Yeah,
they just did it.
I'm
right?
just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Obviously, it could be a. I don't think that in most cases there is one person that makes all decisions. I don't think that's the kind of marriage that's going to last a long time.
Well, because my question is, the president tells the vice president what to do.
As he should.
So why is there more obedience for bosses than husbands?
I have a question for you inside real quick.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I mean, at least he went up to her. He crossed the street for her too. You know, or at least respect. I don't agree with anything he said, but at least he tried. This a bit more. Can we see? Okay, there is more. There's another one. This is the one that she posted. It's like 5 minutes longer. We'll start here.
Hey guys, how's
I
it
won't
going?
bother you. But I want to ask you, are you a Christian?
Well, yeah, I'm Catholic.
I'm sorry?
I'm Catholic.
You are?
Uh-huh.
Do you read the Bible?
Yeah.
Are you taking this question out of context, or why are you asking? I'm just curious. I'm a convert also.
Oh, I just want to know what people believe.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I believe
I don't,
Scripture.
Okay.
I believe Scripture. And if you read the entire,
Yeah, Pearl W's.
you get the context in which Jesus was talking, and Paul was actually referring when he wrote his letter to the Ephesians.
Okay.
Okay.
So should I read it, and you can
Well,
maybe
you can
maybe
take
explain
your time and read it. I'm the head usher here, and I'm going to be here until after Mass.
Okay, because I was just more curious, like how far the obedience goes. So, like,
Read the context
Okay.
in which Paul's letter to the Ephesians.
Okay. Okay. So
You might have more of an understanding because.
What did he say? What did he say in Timothy though?
And
what did he say in Timothy though, man?
okay, so she submitted once or twice, and at least 6 times that I'm aware of, and yet I've loved her through thick and thin, and she's loved me through thick and thin. And if you read the entirety, you'll see that what it says is have respect and love for one another. It's not one-sided. If you take it out of context like that, there are so many things that can be misinterpreted.
Okay. So, do you think it's okay for women to tell their
Yeah, don't cast pro before swine. That's funny.
I don't tell my wife. So no, I don't think it's okay for one to tell the other. Submit if you'll read the letter,
Okay.
the scripture, what we preach.
Uh-huh.
You may get a better understanding. Do I think? No, I don't think it's right for me to tell you you can't be out here. I fought and bled for your right to do this.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
So I don't have any issue with that. I think you're being very friendly and very, and I understand. That's why I asked the question. Okay, I'm not being ugly. I'm really not.
No, I don't think you are. I was just more trying to get a better understanding. So,
Let me boost this a little bit.
if a woman wouldn't tell her boss what to do, why is it not okay for her to tell her husband what to do?
I guess it depends on whether it's respectful discussion.
Mhm.
Same for a man.
Right.
Should not be telling his wife what to do. He should be guiding her.
So he can't.
It's like a very simple thing. It's like either there are head of households or there are not. Either there are patriarchs or there are not. Either they're the head of homes or there are not. Either the husband has the decision-making power or he does not. They're just yes or no questions. And again, it's just like this absolutely cooked political correctness of having to, well, no, respect and love. It's like, yeah, the husband's obviously supposed to love his wife and have respect for his wife. But is the husband defined? Is that a distinction of a role that he serves, especially in terms of his duties towards his family? Like, not even getting close to any of this at all. It's just a bunch of nonsense circling the wagons around.
Can't tell her to shut up, even if she's being really annoying.
Nothing.
Well, I didn't say you can't. I said you shouldn't. And there's a big difference.
Really? I think it'd be heaven on earth if husbands told their wives to shut up more.
No, I don't know that that's the case. My wife, it took me a long time to understand that I should have been listening to her.
Really? Like in what way?
Oh, in any number of ways. I was on the road 120 to 200 days a year.
Mhm.
And she raised my children, and I missed that time.
And you know what the saddest part about this is? The saddest part about this is that he doesn't even realize that what he's doing is he's castigating the distinctions that God created. He's basically saying that the distinctions that God made between men and women don't either, like, in one sense, don't matter or have no significance. And like, that's just sad. It's the same way that we look at the distinctions of the races. Is like, God clearly made the differences intentionally. And inside of the distinctions, he gave these distinctions purposes as well too. And here, what you have is you basically have this guy saying, no, I don't respect the distinctions that God designed. I don't respect the distinctions that he made. I don't care about the differences he made and what purposes or what roles they serve. My modern sensibilities of how I'm supposed to talk and treat women trump anything that God put in that Bible. And that's the most disturbing part about it all. Is it's like, no, God made the distinctions purposeful. God made Eve as the assistant to Adam, right? Wives are the helpers to the husbands. That's the purpose. It's like there's a very distinction. There's hierarchy here. But again, it goes back to this whole thing of like hierarchy determines soul value. It's like, that's not it at all. Hierarchy would determine value in terms of like leadership of the family, as in the husband, the father, the patriarch is much more valuable in terms of leadership and decision making and wisdom than what the wife is. But again, they don't even realize what they're doing because they're so blind to it. It makes me feel bad too.
And she would say, can you be here for this? Can you be here for that? And I didn't pay attention. If I'd have been listening, if I had been doing what he said to the Ephesians, then it could very well have made a difference in my family life.
Really? Because you worked too? Like, what's wrong with that? If you were, building, I'm assuming like you were paying for everything. Or like,
well, the money
yeah.
came in from me. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. And she took care of. I couldn't have hired a woman to do what she did. So,
Right.
So how do you compensate?
No, I just meant like you kind of, if I'm understanding you right, you're almost framing it as if it was like a bad thing that you worked a lot. But I'm saying like what's wrong? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
With with placing my thoughts of needs in front of my family's physical and spiritual needs.
Okay.
You don't think there was anything wrong with that?
Well, I think most men are selfless, so they do things for their family. And so like,
or they do things for themselves because it makes them feel good. I didn't have to do what I did.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times like women guilt men for things that they shouldn't feel guilty about. I'm not saying you in particular, but
I never felt guilty about it.
Yeah.
I'm convert. Converts don't have guilt. Only cradle Catholics have guilt.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Cradle Catholics have beat into them from day one.
Well, because I guess my question is just, it seems like bosses have more authority over their employees than husbands do over their wives.
Yeah.
Like
she's
if
not
like
my employee.
Right, but
again.
Okay.
It all goes back to the entirety of the scripture.
Okay.
And I've been working hard to try and get back in line with that. Your timing was perfect for me.
Okay. What do you think people don't?
I go to a Bible study
Really?
over in Keller.
Okay.
And I and another buddy I was in the military with, there were only 2 Catholics in that study. And that's never once come up.
The obey?
Yeah, about that. No.
So do you think churches are afraid to teach?
Wow, that's crazy.
No, I don't think so.
This has never come up before.
They teach what Paul wrote to the.
I never even thought about this.
The world would be a better.
Should women submit to their husbands? I don't know.
Divorce would probably be a whole lot less.
One more question. Yeah. So if the husband tells his wife one thing and the priest or the pastor tells her another, who should she listen to?
I guess, again, you have to, you can pull things so that I have to answer a question that I don't have all of the details or all of the facts.
At Craig Butler 07 sent $1.99 on YouTube.
Okay. I don't think
she knows nothing about the Bible. This is weak.
I'm in agreement there with you. I don't think Pearl has the best understanding of what to pull up in references as well. This guy's also just as bad too. That kind of is the whole problem summarized, right? This is like, yeah, ChatGPT versus Grok.
That's a fair or practical.
Well, and I would say that too. I'd agree with Newman. Like the point is like, here's a woman who's actually more on the side of what is correct, taking to a guy who's been a head usher of like, I don't even know how long he said, but I'm assuming he's probably been there for some time. And like, in the admittance of this doesn't even come up. What do you mean it doesn't even come up? Especially in today's day and age when like the the entirety of the world is really kind of focused on a couple of problems. One of those being like the broken relationship, the broken dating market, the broken marriage market, the broken all of it, that men and women are just simply just not gelling because there's so many broken elements inside of that. This doesn't come up in church. It's like, well, this is kind of the point, which is the churches aren't even preaching to anybody. They're sticking to they got 30 good old lessons, and half of them are all about, it's largely about, not to say that they're bad, but they stick to very simple themes. They don't speak towards the problems that are going on in the world, and they choose to avoid it. We see this problem. There's a problem of fear of being castigated as a bigot or as a misogynist or et cetera. You also have the fear of people offending their own churches, it pushing people out of the pews, that it weakens the church, and so they're all afraid. There's all these different things that they're all afraid of. But this is kind of the point. The churches aren't speaking to the actual problems happening in the world. They're removed. They're out of time, essentially, if you will. But thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you.
Question. I guess it depends. It's like me asking you, are you going to quit beating your husband?
No, I wouldn't really say that's the same thing.
Well,
it goes back to the.
Listen to your husband. You're going to listen to your priest. That's what you ask.
Yeah, because it's asking who has authority, right? And that's what the whole question's about. It's who has the authority. Does the husband have
Jesus
it?
sent the authority, and he said, if you can read the entirety of Scripture, Ephesians 5:21 through 33, it's really. I'm not even a college grad, and I understand. Okay. But thank you.
Thank you.
And I can understand. I guess you're having a question.
Hey, good on Pearl, man. Good on Pearl. But that was the 5 things we're going to largely react to on this early reaction day stream. Ultimately, Weird Ranger says this guy is not even a convert; he's still brought. That's funny. That is funny. What I will say is, I'm going to take a bit of a short break. I'll be coming back on Kick. By the way, let me put this up. I'm going to pull this up on Kick. Let me find it. Make sure you go and follow me on Kick, because I will be coming back very, very shortly, and we'll be doing a lot more chill. We'll be doing some holy crap. I hate that Kick opens up automatically like that. Let me just turn the sound down. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know how to catch it before it comes on. Let me try faster. Does that work? Is that fast enough? Yeah, so make sure you come and follow me and find me on Kick. We'll be coming back on Kick, be doing a bit of gaming streaming, be a lot more chill. Probably pull some people into the Discord as well too. So anybody, again, and this is a message too for anybody who wants to be a part of any kind of call-ins, or any kind of community call-ins, because I'm probably going to move call-ins to tomorrow. Just because I would rather have time to spend with gaming, and I don't know what Tix's schedule is either. So make sure that you go and follow me over on Kick. This is where we'll be going any kind of like real super chill streaming. When we're getting super casual with no kind of real plans or anything, we're just kind of hanging out. This is where it's going to be at as well. Same kind of setup and everything for the most part. But definitely go and follow over here if you want to catch those streams as well. Tix says ETA. I'm probably going to try to come back on around 7:15, 7:30, if that works with you. If not, I guess I can go a different direction with gaming. I got a couple ideas we can go with ultimately. Also, one of the ideas is War Tales. This is a game I've wanted to play for a long time. I got that one started, and I actually started a journey on there. We also have Digging a Hole. We also have Valheim. We have a few other games that we can try too. I also got like free Xbox Pass somehow, so I have like the whole Game Pass. So I do have a lot more games I'm available to on PC as well that we can do. We'll chill and hang out there, and plan to stream in that. So we'll probably definitely do Valheim for a good bit, and then I'll probably do something else at the end of the night as well. Perhaps that's War Tales or something different. We'll see when we get there. I'm gonna take a short break, and I'll be coming back in like an hour, maybe even less than that, over on Kick. And so definitely go follow there on Kick if you would like to. Appreciate everybody for being here as well. And at some point tomorrow, I will be coming back on for a community stream. It will be doing call-ins as well. But if we want to do the call-ins, I haven't decided if we're going to do spaces or not, but I think Discord's just a bit easier to do. So definitely join the Discord if you have not already. I can grab a link and put it in the chat. Unless one of my mods can beat me to it. Let me see if I can pull up Discord as well. Waiting. I'll grab a link here and I'll drop it into the chat. Make sure it's the right one. Love the photo. Thank you, Tix. How do I invite people again? It's like this or something. And then we put this in the chat. Anybody who wants to join. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous is good. I think that's when I played. I think I played one of them, because they added 2 Pathfinders to like the PS Plus. I played it like a few months ago. That was pretty solid. But thank you, everybody. Yeah, Discord links are there if you would like to join. And you'll see down here, this is what we'll basically do. Inside of the call-ins, where's the voice channel at? Down here. So we have Tix. This is Tix's gaming channel. He's been streaming in there, doing Crimson Desert. But we have the on-stream, we have the call-in show, and the green rooms. Anybody for call-ins who want to do a call-in, you can go into any of these groups, whether it's members only or chill or green room. I literally just drag you and drop you into the call-in show. But as always, Christ is King. Thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate you guys for joining and stepping in. Make sure you smash the like button on your way. It helps tremendously. And now, as always, you can support me here. Super chats, buy me a coffee, power chat, all of it works. We appreciate it greatly. And again, no gripper report tonight. Josh is at a wedding, so that's not going to be happening tonight. For anybody who might have not gotten that announcement yet so far. But as always, Christ is King. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on Kick here in about an hour. Take everybody. No deportation, so only impeachments, and all fat women get shot from cannons. And I'll see you guys shortly. Peace out.
Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out.